Tonight, let's take a look at our Southwest starting lineup. The Texas Rangers 72 and 76 coming in. It's Delino DeShields and Shin-Soo Choo up top. Elvis Andrus and Adrian Beltre providing a lot of the production last night in the middle. Mazzara Joey Gallo with his third most home runs in the American League. Chirinos Odor and Drew Robinson looking to get it going, batting ninth and playing third.
And they'll be going up against King Felix Hernandez. And we'll take a look at the forward pitch arsenal for Hernandez. The fastball, the velocity has come down a little bit. He still uses it 44% of the time, and it averages right around 91 miles per hour. The changeup is an important pitch, one that has just a 182 batting average against. You see the slider, the curveball as well for Hernandez. And we'll take a look at the Mariners defense behind Felix Hernandez tonight. Same as yesterday's game. Gamble, Heredia, and Haniger in the outfield. Kyle Seager, Gene Segura, Robinson Cano, Yonder Alonso in there tonight. A little bit different change at first base. And Mike Zunino behind the plate to catch Hernandez.
All right, set to go. Delino DeShields leading things off once again tonight. 281 average, 5 homers, 20 driven in. And Hernandez starts him low with ball one. So underway tonight. Big game for both these teams, and both teams backed up against the wall right now. It's just a minimum number of games remaining in the season, making every game truly a must win. The term we try to avoid all year long, and now you just run it out every night. It's a must win.
I think for both of these clubs, really, you're at that point where you really cannot afford losses. We know the Rangers stumbled there a little bit, now trying to get back on track with 2 straight wins, but with 12 to play, trailing by 3, yeah, I mean, it kind of is pretty much must win here if you want to have a shot at that second wild card.
2-1. That one grooved. Evens account at 2-2 on DeShields. As we mentioned, Hernandez making the start tonight for Seattle. His second start since coming back off the disabled list. And he runs the count full on DeShields. A real oddity for Hernandez, one of those things I kind of wanted to look into a little deeper today. This start now, that's 3 straight starts for him against the Rangers. The last time he faced any other team was July 25th. And he gets DeShields looking with strike 3.
Well, interesting at bat here for Delino DeShields as he takes a look at the fastball to finish off this at bat from Felix Hernandez. Remember, it's not the 94-95. You see that 2-seam fastball coming back, and Delino DeShields actually thought that he walked there. A pretty good pitch, and he did not swing the bat once in that 6-pitch at bat. He looked stunned by that, didn't he?
He did. He did. This one lifted out into left field. Gamble finds his way underneath it, and there are 2 gone. That's weird. Delino with a 6-pitch at bat. Choo with the 1-pitch at bat. And we've seen that, especially earlier in the year. We'd see Choo do that occasionally. Just ambush a guy on the first pitch to a lot of success, but not this time.
And of course, we know we've heard Choo talk about how when Delino is hitting 1 and Choo hitting 2, or vice versa, whatever it may be, that they set a combined goal, try to get on base 6 times between the 2 of them, but 0 for 2 so far here in the first.
So Hernandez goes after Elvis Andrus. Misfires at the corner. Elvis, the average at 302. You see the very high on base percentage and the biggest power numbers in his career, and by a long shot. He's ahead here 2-0.
20 home runs this year. The previous 4 seasons combined, he had 21. So yes, to say that this has been an explosion in power for Elvis Andrus, you might be underselling it a little bit.
2-1. Well, in some ways, a reflection of what we have seen across Major League Baseball. There has been A lot of growth for guys in the power categories. 2-1. And he stays alive.
So record set. Last night, most home runs in the big leagues ever in one season, with still some time to go. And then we saw one today where Chris Sale, I just saw, struck out his 300th hitter of the season. Only the second Boston Red Sox to ever do that, pitcher to ever do that. Pedro Martinez did it back in 1999.
This one lined out to left field, but Gamble right there. And it's a 1-2-3, top of the first inning for Felix Hernandez. All right, time for Andrew Cashner to go to work. First inning, and Gene Segura set to lead things off for Seattle. Let's take a look at their starting lineup. Segura, Mitch Haniger, Robinson, Cano up top. Cruz, Seager, and Yonder Alonso with the start at first base. He's been a tough one for the Rangers. Mike Zunino, Ben Gamel, and Guillermo Heredia rounding things out.
Going up against Andrew Cashner, let's take a look at the forward pitch arsenal for Cashner. A lot of fastballs, 65% of the time, both the four and the two-seam fastball. Most of those will be two-seamers. It's the changeup, the cutter, and the curveball as well for Andrew Cashner. The changeup has probably been the best of the secondary offerings, a .218 batting average against, but he has allowed 6 home runs on that pitch. So it's kind of been all or nothing on the changeup for opposing hitters against Andrew Cashner.
Segura slaps this one right through into right field for a base hit. So the Mariners waste no time in getting their first base runner of the night.
And let's set the Ranger defense, which is delivered to you by New Braunfels Convention and Visitors Bureau. Nomar Mazara, Delano DeShields, and Shin-Soo Choo in right. Drew Robinson at third, Elvis Andrews, Ruben Odor at second, Joey Gallo at first, and Robinson Chirinos back out there again tonight, catching Andrew Cashner. Drew Robinson getting that opportunity, we mentioned at third base, and between him and Will Middlebrooks and Joey Gallo, with Adrian Beltre only DHing at this point, dealing with the sore lower half and the hamstring. Some opportunities for Drew Robinson.
Well, Mitch Haniger with a man aboard here, and you see the numbers that Haniger has put up now in 85 games this year with Seattle. Another start in right field for him. Mariners went young in the outfield, and it's worked out for them. 0-2 the count to Haniger. Yesterday, Haniger was 1 for 3. He's had just 1 hit in 6 tries against Cashner this year. And he takes strike 3 call. That was a quick one. 1 away.
Well, certainly was, and I got to imagine for Mitch Haniger maybe looking for something else with 2 strikes, and Andrew Cashner surprised him with a fastball. You see Robinson Chirinos wanted that ball elevated, It's still a good pitch, maybe not exactly the one they wanted to throw 0-2, and certainly not the one that Mitch Haniger was expecting.
So first strikeout of the night for Cashner. Now here is Robinson Cano. Quick toss over there to first to keep an eye on Segura. Segura does have 21 steals this year in 28 attempts.
You see how the Rangers will play Robinson Cano, not really much of a shift, and part of that is go back to the beginning of last year. Since 2016, nobody has beaten the shift when it's been on him more than Robinson Cano, and I think the Rangers certainly have taken note of that, and so see them play him pretty much straight up. 76% of the time that the shift has been used against Robinson Cano, basically 3 out of 4 times, he has beaten it since the beginning of last year. So I think teams say, yeah, we're not going to do it to him.
Takes outside 2-0. Yeah, to that end, he has been a very hot hitter. In September, he and Mitch Haniger, two of the hottest in the American League. Cano hitting .358 for the month. Boy, he was swinging for it all right there. 2-1 the count.
He got himself at the 2-0 count, and we just talked about Andrew Cashner in that arsenal. He already throws a lot of fastballs as it is. So Robinson Cano felt comfortable sitting fastball there, taking that big swing. Andrew Cashner, even though he doesn't get a lot of strikeouts, he still has the really good fastball.
One out, a man at first. Ooh, and a good toss over there. You know, I don't know. You can tell me if that's been his A or B move that he has used, but or maybe it's just that Seager's not real quick getting back. But both times, I thought there's been a little stumble or a little awkwardness there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Segura is thinking about trying to get the big lead, but I would say this is pretty close to one of his better moves. You see the quick feet there. It's not a big lead necessarily that Segura has.
Not a real dive back either. It's like he puts a hand down and starts crawling back. Oh, that's weird.
I wonder if he was going to try to get off a little bit further, maybe caught off guard by the quick move from Andrew Cashner. Segura is a good base runner, good base stealer. 21 for 28 on the year.
Robinson Cano closing in, and he's one of these guys already closing in on a lot of great names as he moves up the charts, home runs, doubles, those types of things. And he is just about to catch his hitting coach, Edgar Martinez. Edgar, 53rd all-time with 514 doubles. Cano, 512 doubles in his career already. That's a big number. Full count now on Cano.
It certainly is. And Edgar Martinez, of course, one of the greats of the game, a guy who, prior to David Ortiz, one of the best DHs I think that we have ever seen. Great swing, he's always had. That's got to be kind of fun. Like, you know, passing guys on lists is cool, but when the guy's sharing the same uniform and talk a little smack, hey, how's 54th place looking?
3-2. Runner goes. Pitch is low, and that's ball 4. So Segura can walk the last couple steps in. 2 men aboard now for Nelson Cruz. Well, you never want to give in to the great hitters. Cashner did not to Cano, but he did put him on, only to have to face another great hitter in Nelson Cruz.
Well, this is a tough middle of the lineup. There's no getting around it. You go Robinson Cano, Nelson Cruz, Kyle Seager. You got some tough bats to deal with, and you already talked about how Mitch Haniger has been hot in the month of September. Gene Segura is a good player, having a nice year. There's some good offense here, so Andrew Cashner now's got some work to do. He's actually had slightly better numbers. We're kind of strange splits for him. 243 against lefties, 252 against the righties. But He's only allowed 4 home runs to right-handed hitters this year. He's done an excellent job of keeping the ball in the ballpark.
Cruz in there with that big open stance. And Castro off the plate.
Oh.
Ball 1.
Pretty good pitch. Robinson Trinos is going to go out there. It might have been a little bit of confusion on what they were doing with multiple signs, which does seem a little bit strange when talk about that first runner at second base. These are conversations that you usually have before the game. I'll tell you though, I thought that was a pretty good pitch from Andrew Castro. 96 miles an hour. Like he caught the outer third of the plate.
The 1-0. And a comebacker right there at second base, though. Odor gets 1, throws to first for 2. And that is a nice double play. Inning over, and we go to the second inning, no score. Well, a lot of beautiful scenes here in Seattle. We are inside tonight here at Safeco Field. After a scoreless inning of work, Felix Hernandez ready to continue. And our Kubota power stats tonight. About among active pitchers in Major League Baseball, 4th in strikeouts, 3rd in career earned run average, 3rd with 25 complete games in his career.
He's been a stud ever since he got into the league. 2005, he made 12 starts, but after that, 2006, as a 20-year-old, making 30 or more starts every year through 2015. At least 190 innings in all of those seasons. He was always and has been a workhorse here for the Mariners. His best year in 2010 as far as innings go, through 249. Fell just an out short of getting to 250. Now he's just 6 innings short, getting to 2,500 for his career.
Beltre bounces one down to third base. Seager right there on top of it. One out here in the second inning. That'll give Beltre a chance to walk past. Oh, there you go. I love it.
Soon as Adrian hit that ground ball, Felix Hernandez looked at him and gave him the hands, both hands. Like, take it easy. Easy on that hamstring, old man. Don't get hurt running to first base. These are guys that always have fun together. Watch Felix right here. Hey, easy, easy. A little back and forth between those two guys. That is fantastic. Slow down. A few guys that can actually get away with that kind of banter during a game. We're looking at 2 of them right there, Felix Hernandez and Adrian Beltre.
Former teammates here in Seattle, became close and have maintained a very playful, albeit competitive relationship over the years. Nomar Mazara now stands in. Nomar with 19 home runs sitting on that number for a little while. And it is 1-1. Mazara, of course, has had to exit the game a couple of times already here in the first half of September with tightness in that left quad. Game 2 of our doubleheader in Atlanta Friday against the Angels, and that one, this is a swing and missed. I thought I hit him, but maybe it was a swing and then it hit him.
Let's take a look at this and we'll see exactly what happened here with Nomar Mazara. Yeah, he swung at it, but it also hit his foot. But because he swung at it, it doesn't matter. It's not going to be a hit by pitch. Anytime you offer, even if the ball hits you, it's going to be a strike.
Unless you're in Boston.
Well, the same exact thing happened to the same exact hitter in Nomar Mazara, which actually allowed the Boston Red Sox to strike out 20 in 9 innings against the Rangers, even though they shouldn't have, because the ball got away. Nomar went to first. That extended the inning. Craig Kimbrell ended up striking out 4 batters in that inning. And that's how the Red Sox got to a combined 20 strikeouts in 9 innings against the Rangers back, I think it was May, right? We were there?
Yeah, and it was a missed call because he struck out, but then was awarded first.
Yep, even though the ball hit it.
All right, full count on Mazara now. 1 out, nobody on here in the 2nd inning.
Now, it wasn't that the umpires had the rule wrong in that situation. They just didn't see it.
Yeah,
right? Because
I'm blurring on the details because it was a complete cluster. It went back to review in New York.
Yeah.
So they saw what we saw.
But he swung and missed, and it hit him, and the ball got away. But what they said is they never saw it actually hit him, even though we saw it hit him. They looked at it as strictly a strike 3 wild pitch. And that's how Nomar was allowed to go to first, and the inning continued. But the ball definitely hit him.
It definitely hit him. 3-2. And this ball hit on the ground right out to second base, where Cano, deep in right field, throws him out, and they're 2 away. Well, tradition here in Seattle when Felix Hernandez pitches, they have the King's Court. They all sit down the left field line, and the chef brings out this big turkey drumstick. And I've seen this for years now, CJ. Disgust me. There's no way I could see you being a part of this.
I would eat that in a second.
Well, they hand it one guy, he'll take a big chomp, and then they hand it down the line, and everybody takes a bite.
Oh, no, that I'm out on for sure. I thought you meant would I just take it and eat it?
Well, of course you would.
Yeah. It's like the Olympic torch, that thing. Pass it around.
It grosses me out every time they do that, man. Some guy takes a big bite, and they act like animals and pass it down the line. No thanks. Liner out there, Cano again. A nice short hop play. He'll throw out Gallo, and it's a 1-2-3 for Felix Hernandez. We played an inning and a half so far tonight, no score.
We're between the Rangers and the M's as we welcome you back to Safeco Field here in Seattle. Andrew Kashner back out on the mound for the Rangers, and I spoke with Doug Brocale, the pitching coach, today about how and why Kashner has been able to be so effective, and he credited much of it to his rhythm, not necessarily his tempo, but he said his rhythm. You can't necessarily always control the tempo. The batter's going to step out. There are going to be things that can come into play, but his rhythm and how he delivers the ball, sticking with that, he feels like has been the biggest key to Andrew Kashner's success. Also, too, the fact that he's been healthy. He said once that neck healed up, it allowed him to open everything up. Everything was short when the neck injury and the shoulder injury were prevalent. So health and rhythm, like a dancer, guys, is what's been working for Andrew Kashner.
Well, Dave certainly would know about that. We know about his great dancing. We see it all the time here in the booth. But it is interesting trying to, you might hear that and say, well, it is kind of hard to maybe understand the difference between that tempo and the rhythm. But Emily described it perfectly, because we've heard a lot from Martin Perez this year talking about wanting to control tempo and keep it moving, because he has the tendency, and had previous years in his career, to get a little bit slow in between pitches, right? That's as far as getting back on the mound, delivering a pitch. But a guy may step out or whatever it may be. But the rhythm within the delivery, keeping that same pace once you get started, is something you can control. You want that to be as consistent as possible.
Well, so far so good tonight. Kashner with a scoreless first inning, got a double play, certainly helped him there. Now ahead of Kyle Seager, 1-2. Seager goes up after this one and pops it up left side of the infield, and Drew Robinson underneath it, one away. Well, attention smartphone users, download the Ballpark app for access to Mobile Monday ticket offers. Fans using the Ballpark app get access to $5 upper reserve tickets on select Mondays. Get $5 tickets for this Monday, September 25th. Opening game, the Rangers and the Astros, the final 3-game series against Houston. Remember, Mobile Monday ticket offers only available through the Ballpark app. Download it today. First pitch swing, Mike Zunino sends one down the left field line. Foul. Strike one. Pardon me, Yonder Alonso. We'll get to Zunino soon enough.
Big Zunino fan, huh? You getting excited about him?
I'm pumped. One strike pitch.
Thought I saw you at the team store picking up a Zunino jersey today.
Mm-hmm. Got together for lunch today. 1-1. Turns Alonso off the plate. Well, Alonso getting the start tonight at first base for Seattle. A trade deadline acquisition. Say trade deadline post. Traditional trade deadline, the end of July. He was a week later acquired from Oakland. They traded Boog Powell the other way, the outfielder, who we will see this weekend when we go to Oakland.
Nice year for Yonder Alonso, making the All-Star team for the first time in his career. Pretty cool for him to go back to Miami as a guy who was drafted in the first round out of the University of Miami. It was a big moment for him and his family.
Couldn't check up, 3-2. Played 3 years at the university after, of course, he was born in Cuba and then moved to the United States when he was about 10 years old. His dad was a great player and coach in Cuba's professional league, a professional league that's produced so many great talents we have seen here stateside. And Alonso able to grow up in the United States, play college ball at Miami, and then a very high draft pick. He watches ball 4, second walk tonight issued by Kashner.
He went 7th overall, and if you've ever seen anything in the Players Tribune, they do a lot of good things. When you get players to really kind of contribute and write some things. Well, the Yonder Alonso story that was featured in the Players Tribune earlier this summer is definitely one worth reading, as he kind of detailed the journey. Every time a guy gets to kind of personalize himself, that's one thing. There's some great storytellers in our game, but when the player contributes to that story, I think Makes it all the more interesting.
Alonso now over at first base. Here's Mike Zunino.
Start the wave.
Zunino, 23 home runs, 59 RBIs. Of course, their everyday catcher here in Seattle comes up empty there. It's 1-1. Yesterday, Zunino had a hit in 4 tries. Big second half for him, or good second half. A little bit of a turnaround for Zunino. Got off to a slow start this year. Cashner's 1-1, and that's very high.
23 home runs now for Mike Zunino this year. That is a career high. He did 22 back in 2014. Still strikes out a bunch, 154 strikeouts on the year. Keep talking about these guys. Of course, you're mentioning Elvis Andrus and the great year he is having from a power standpoint. The guy who just hit before Zunino's got 25 this year. His previous career high was 9.
See his numbers this year in the first dozen games these two teams have played. Full count. Boy, Castro getting some deep counts, a couple of walks already today. Mentioned earlier, this is a rematch of a game we saw last Thursday back at Globe Life Park. Castro went 4 1/3 in that one. He just ran into a lot of trouble in the 5th inning of that ball game, but he also ran into trouble with the walks. He had 5 walks in 4 1/3 innings. And he strikes out Zunino for out number 2.
I mentioned Andrew Castro still has great velocity on the fastball, and he elevates here a little bit accidentally, but he'll take it. This ball was probably in the strike zone anyway, trying to go down and away, but you see it there at 96. Mike Zunino just does not have a chance to get to that heater from Andrew Cashner.
So 2 away, and here is Ben Gamble, 8th place hitter. Swings and misses. Good fastball from Castner. Castner already at 30 pitches for the night. 1-2 to count. More heat for Gamble.
Yeah, he just looks really late on that fastball from Cashner, and so you sit there and say, okay, well, you're 0-2, and you beat him with a couple of fastballs. You maybe try to flip a breaking ball in the dirt, get him to chase it. That is certainly an option. What you don't want to do, or at least it can be a little bit risky, is any off-speed pitch in the strike zone right now. And go back to the heater. Looks like they're going to go try to go up and away.
Liner, third base, and Robinson able to get up and grab it. Inning over. Cashner works around the walk. We've played 2 scoreless innings tonight. Goose eggs up there tonight, and we head to the third inning here. Rangers fans, you can have an opportunity to show your support for the Gulf Coast. Be sure to tune in and see the Rangers and Astros on Tuesday the 26th for the Harvey Relief Benefit. Fans are going to have the opportunity to bid on one-of-a-kind sports and entertainment packages, donate, receive limited edition merchandise, and help the many who are in need at this time. And we certainly hope you will join us for that. That'll be Tuesday night, middle game of that huge series with the Astros. Ready to go here in the third. And bottom third of the order due against Felix Hernandez. Chirinos, Rougned Odor, and Drew Robinson coming up here. Nice strike call. 1-1.
Chirinos didn't like it. I might have caught that up and away corner. We've seen a couple of high pitches called strikes here so far this evening by Jeff Kellogg, the crew chief here.
Hooks that one down to third base. Seager on top of it. And there is one away in the third inning. Well, tomorrow will be the final game of this three-game series in our AT&T pitching matchup. Cole Hamels and James Paxton. I really like the looks of this matchup. We just missed this last week of the four-game series. But Hamels looking for his 11th win of the year. The Rangers ace against James Paxton, who we have seen at times this year is absolutely dominant. And we'll see. He has spent some time on the disabled list, just recently back off the DL. And we'll get a chance to look at him tomorrow night.
A couple of really good lefties. Obviously, Cole Hamels has been doing it for a really long time. James Paxton has been a guy that has always had a lot of upside. He's had an issue staying healthy. Remember how he started off this year, just absolutely dominating that streak of scoreless innings, and then he spent some time on the DL. He was really pitching like an ace. I mean, King Felix is still the guy, of course. These are the pure stuff and contributions this year, and you might say that James Paxton at times has been the ace of the staff.
I'll say it.
I just said it, so you can't.
Two-strike pitch. And fouled back out of play. Now Rougned Odor trying to become the first Rangers base runner in this one tonight against Felix Hernandez, who, by the way, he was really good when we saw him last Thursday back at Globe Life Park, and looks pretty good again here tonight. 1-2. We talked about it at the start tonight, but a bit of an oddity, and that he made a start against the Rangers at Globe Life Park on July 31st, went 5 1/3 innings in that one, but then went to the disabled list, and he spent about 6 weeks on the DL, activated on September 14th. And swing and miss. Odor strikes out. Second strikeout tonight for Hernandez.
Interesting to see Felix there reaching back for a little bit. He doesn't have the 96, 97 that he once had, but you see him here setting up Rougned Odor after a changeup and coming back with a good fastball, and you see Odor swing right underneath that pitch. Interesting there, kind of telling. Odor looked out at him after the strikeout.
Yeah, well, he's probably getting a little chirping from that bench too, right?
Yeah, good chance.
I mean, he might have said that to Odor. Possible, fellow countryman, but likelihood is he's communicating with Beltre, as he tends to do all night long. 1-0. Strike, 1-1 to count.
We have seen a lot of times in this game as pitchers get a little bit older, as maybe the mileage starts to catch up, and Felix Hernandez is not that old. He's only 31 years old, but when you look at his innings, he's probably more about 36, 37-year-old, really, when you think about the 2,500 innings that he has. But what happens in those situations? Fastballs start to go down, and we see guys struggle with that a little bit. Tim Lincecum is a really good recent example of a guy who could not figure out how to pitch when he didn't have 95, 96 anymore. It took CC Sabathia a while to make the adjustment. He's there now. There really hasn't been an adjustment for Felix Hernandez. The velocity went down. He didn't go through a period where he was a really ineffective pitcher getting hit around and trying to figure it out. It was almost a seamless transition. He's gotten himself to that point where, okay, I know the big fastball isn't there anymore. I'll just get guys out this way. And you haven't even really noticed the difference.
It's 2-2. And Robinson puts this one into the seats. And we'll get another chance.
I think the issue that so many guys have run into in that spot is your body feels the same. You think it's there. In reality, that high fastball, the big fastball is not there. So then you go to reach back for it. I'm just going to throw this thing as hard as I want up in the zone like I always have. But instead of being 96, it's 92, 93, and guys are teeing off on it.
And he strikes out Robinson. 3 strikeouts tonight for Hernandez, through 3 perfect innings. And after 2.5 tonight, no score.
Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by your local Texas Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas.
Well, no score, but this baby's just getting started.
Oh.
Oh, that was great.
Miss those days?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good fun right there. Although I got to tell you, it's some courage bringing the baby to the ball game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I had that much moxie when we had the babies.
Well, yeah, and then the idea of getting through 9 innings sometimes, unless you get the sleeping baby.
Oh, maybe that's mom's play.
Could be.
Bring the baby. Oh, hey, look, we're gonna have to head.
Or at least a little, yeah, or a little taste of King's Court, right? You think about when you're at that age and you can really just indoctrinate a kid, right? Just say, hey, we're Mariners fans, and that's it.
Guillermo Heredia leading things off here in the 3rd inning. And he takes one low, 2 balls and a strike. Heredia, 6 home runs this year, .259 average for him. Cashner a little bit away, so Cashner hasn't attacked the strike zone tonight like he has for most of the year. He's been a little bit more careful, and it's reflected in the walks. And it's also a continuation of the last time he faced the Mariners last Thursday when he walked 5 in less than 5 innings. Hard one hopper to second base. Nice snag by Odor, and they get Heredia for out number 1.
This is a great play by Rougned Odor. He made it look easy, but this ball was hit pretty hard and almost a little bit of an in-between hop, and he fielded it clean. He did a nice job, too, of keeping his feet moving after he caught it. Right, see the one hop right there. Nice job. But you shuffle your feet until you're ready to throw. What you don't want to do is keep those feet still, especially for whatever reason. If you're waiting for the first baseman to get over, give him a little bit more time. Ball was hit hard, but yes, a very good play there by Odor.
So now back to the top of the order. Got away from Chirinos. Ball 1 to Gene Segura, who singled on the first pitch he saw. Segura's had a really nice year, 10th in the league with his .295 batting average coming in. Lately he's been on a nice little run, hits in 14 of his last 18 games. But Martin Perez and the Rangers bullpen collared him last night 0 for 4. Bouncer third base, Robinson to his left. Has time. Whoa, throw off the bag, and Gallo able to put the tag on Segura for out number 2. Never fun.
Well, it looked like it was going to be a routine play here for Drew Robinson. This ball was hit pretty hard, made a nice play as he worked to his left, took a look at the runner, and plenty of time to make the throw, and it just sailed on him a little bit, and that's a nice job by Joey Gallo to make the catch, and you see him and apply the tag and then get his hand out of there. You're absolutely right. We've seen a lot of injuries take place in those spots, but said it last night, I'll say it again tonight. Joey Gallo continues to impress at first base.
Check swing by Haniger, and he fouls off strike 1. Haniger struck out looking in the first inning. 2 strikeouts so far tonight for Andrew Cashner.
You were talking earlier about how young this outfield is in Seattle. Take a look at this. 3 rookie outfielders with at least 80+ starts, and that's what they have here. And they'll probably get to 90 for Mitch Haniger, but they are just the 3rd team since 1913 to have 3 rookie outfielders with 80 or more starts. The 69 Royals, the 54 A's. It's impressive, and a team that is competing and contending. It's one thing when you're in a rebuild, throw a bunch of young guys out there, different positions. That's something we see once in a while, but not to this degree, obviously. Only 3 times in history, and they find themselves in contention.
1-2 pitch. And that one fouled away.
And all doing pretty well. I mean, obviously, if you're going to get that many starts, you're going to have to produce to get 100 or more starts, or 80 or more starts as a rookie. And these guys have had their ups and downs, certainly expected. They've done a nice job. There's Jerry DiPoto, general manager here, the Seattle Mariners.
This ball hit well out to left field, and Haniger has left the building. That one up above the manually operated scoreboard. Solo shot for Haniger, his 14th of the year, and the scoring has started tonight in Seattle.
I mentioned earlier how rare this is for Andrew Cashner. He has just not had an issue with the long ball against right-handed hitters. This is just the 5th home run that a righty has hit off him this year. But you see Robinson Chirinos again wanting the elevated fastball and having to come down to potentially catch it. And so it's been a couple of times down here for Cashner, who has wanted to elevate out of the zone and has been unable to do it. The fastball command has been a little bit off for him tonight. We saw him talking about it in the dugout after last inning. That time, unfortunately, he got burnt with a missed fastball.
Now a grounder second base and an easy out of Cano. So the inning is done, but not before the Haniger homer starts the scoring tonight. 1-0 Mariners.
Top four, Mariners leading the Rangers 1-0 as we welcome you back to Safeco Field here in Seattle. Game 2 of this 3-game series. And Delino DeShields has made the most of his time in center field, getting increased playing time with the injury to Carlos Gomez, and obviously making the most of it at the top of that lineup. Our State Farm winning combination tonight features Delino and the fact that he could become just the first player since Ian Kinsler in 2011 to have an on-base percentage of .350. He's sitting at .354 right now, and then add 20 steals on, or 30 steals rather, on top of that. He's sitting on 29, so just needs one more to hit those numbers. Quite an impressive season that Delino's put together despite not getting consistent playing time throughout the year, guys.
Yeah, that's the big part, right? That's what really sticks out with Delino DeShields. It's one thing to have a good year. Well, more often than not, to have a good year, got to get consistent playing time. It's very difficult to get into a rhythm. Well, Delino has handled himself exceptionally well, not getting those consistent at bats, but when he has gotten them, he's taken full advantage. And he's also shown the Rangers something, I think, with his defense. I think they have really noticed an improvement. And remember, we saw Delino DeShields getting taken out for defense earlier this season. He just quietly went about his business and he continued to make improvements, and now he finds himself getting great opportunities in center. And who knows what's going to happen next year? Carlos Gomez is a free agent. We don't know if he's going to be back or not, but if he's not, I got to believe that the Rangers are feeling pretty good about the potential of Delino DeShields being their everyday starting center fielder. Now, with that being said, it would be nice to see that guy back in the Texas Rangers uniform next year.
Pitch down the middle, 3-0. And that's strike one. How about this? The Rangers, in games Delino starts, they're 50 and 42. 8 games over 500. And he takes ball 4. So he is on to start this 4th inning. Rangers finally have a base runner tonight. Time for a Chevy game break. Let's send it back to John Radigan. Yeah, thanks, John. So Yankees continue their dominance over the Twins. So even if Minnesota were to hold on and win that second wild card, to what end, I ask you, CJ, because the Yankees, since 2002, you ready to try this one on for size?
I'm ready.
88 and 33 against the Twins.
That sounds pretty good.
Right, that's like,
no, the good news
dominant
for the Twins is that a lot of the Yankees from 2002 are no longer on that team.
Yeah, well, they're still getting hammered by them.
Well, I think the Yankees are the better team on paper. I think it's probably safe to say. We've said it a lot as we've talked about the Twins. What they have done has been very impressive. A lot of that is based on the fact that their personnel doesn't necessarily look like they should be the second wild card. So that's a testament to those guys playing above expectations. Certainly for Paul Molitor, who's done an excellent job as their manager.
This ball hits sharply into right field. A base hit for Chu. DeShields will take off for third base. And the throw back to second is cut off. Delino with a great read as he kept an eye on Haniger out in right field to see how he was going to pick up the baseball, or maybe better said, if he was going to pick up the baseball. It
is so easy to get lazy in these situations, and Delino DeShields did not. You see the base hit goes right straight to Haniger. Well, of course, he'll probably field that quickly and pretty easily. Watch Delino watching, did not take his eye off Haniger the entire time, and then as soon as he saw the bobble, the explosiveness, the great speed of Delino DeShields took over. That is an excellent job of reading that base hit.
Well, base hit and an error. He gets to third, and now Seager bobbles one at third. DeShields scores. Andrus is aboard, and it's a tie ball game.
We'll see how they rule this one, but I can tell you, Kyle Seager is a pretty good third baseman. We have seen him play a lot now here against the Texas Rangers, and you watch this one, and he tried to catch it on the run, and this is what speed does to defenders, right? We talk about it all the time, the kind of pressure that it could put on pitchers, but also puts a lot of pressure on the defenders, because Kyle Seager's thinking, okay, I'm going to take a shot at home, but I better hurry because it's Delano DeShields that is running. So ultimately, did they call it an error?
Called it an error and no RBI.
That's a tough one.
That's challenging to me.
It is. It's a tough play. But basically what the scorekeeper is assuming is that if Kyle Seager caught that ball cleanly, he is saying that Delano DeShields would have been out. I don't think that's a safe assumption.
No, I think that's a dangerous assumption. But a somewhat irrelevant assumption because it is a tie game now and the inning continues with nobody out. Chu is at second, Andrews at first, and now Adrian Beltre.
Remember the conversation we had about yesterday's game in which the Rangers won without hitting a home run, which is the 8th time that they have done that this year. They played small ball, right? They did the little things right, getting runners over, stealing bases, getting guys in. So far here tonight, we're kind of seeing the same thing. It goes back to Delano DeShields and the really good base running. How important those little things are. Like I said, it is very easy, especially this time of year, to get lazy. Put your head down for a second, maybe have a mental lapse. The Rangers can't afford that right now.
So mound meeting done, and Beltre takes a strike. 2-1 the count. Beltre going to discuss that with Jeff Kellogg. Kellogg was having none of it. Adrian grounded out to second base. Pardon me, to third base. His first time up. And takes one in.
I got to think for the rest of these umpires now going forward, they always have a great line to kind of throw back at Adrian, right? There was that thing between Joe West and Adrian Beltre. Everybody assumed it was a joke when Joe West had said that Adrian Beltre was the biggest complainer in the league, right? And everyone took it in jest. Rob Manfred did not. He actually suspended Joe West over the comment that showed up in his book, if I'm not mistaken. I believe Joe West's book. Isn't that where the comment?
No, I thought it was an article.
It's just an article. That's right. I'm sorry. But now, so every time Adrian looks back and jokingly says something to an umpire, the umpire can always say Joe West was right. Right? That's a nice little fun line that he's fed them. A little back and forth because Adrian's always going to give those guys, and not in a bad way, right? But always likes to talk to the umpires, have a little fun with them, and now they can have a little fun back.
It draws the walk. Bases are loaded, nobody out, so Hernandez creating a little bit of a mess for himself here in the 4th inning. And now Nomar Mazara, big RBI spot for him right here. Nomar grounded out in the 2nd inning. He's 0 for 1. Sitting on 94 RBIs this year.
That's been a big year for Nomar in that regard. 19 home runs, 18 of those have come against right-handed pitching, so at least from that standpoint a good matchup. We got a good RBI man. Was it 18 home runs against right-handed pitchers this year?
Already starting to see activity out of that Mariners bullpen. We talked earlier that it might be a shorter pitch count tonight for Felix Hernandez. 0-2 the count. Already at 53 pitches. He threw 54 pitches last Thursday in Arlington. And that was his first time back off the disabled list. I was talking about it earlier. Is made a start on July 31st, went on the disabled list. That start was against the Rangers. Went on the DL afterward with that right shoulder bursitis. Finally came off the DL to face the Rangers. That was last week. And now his next start, he's facing the Rangers. Bouncer up the middle, and that one is through a base hit. Chu is in. Andrews right behind him. Mazara picks up a pair of RBIs. 3-1 Rangers, and Nomar now at 96 RBIs for the year.
This is a great at-bat from Nomar Mazara. We'll dig in a little bit and take a look in a spot in which he gets down pretty quickly. But check this out, all 3 pitches of this at-bat. You're going to see off-speed, breaking ball, down, he fouls it off. Change up below the zone. You see Nomar swinging and missing. And they try to go back to the changeup again, but that one catches too much plate in an 0-2 count. Felix Hernandez wanted that ball below the zone. He couldn't get it there. Nomar Mazara was all over it.
So Joey Gallo now, who managed to hold up on that check swing. 3 runs in, still nobody out. Beltre's second, Mazzara at first base. One and one the count. Gallo 5 for his last 16 with runners in scoring position. He has Beltre out there at the moment. And takes out one little low. 2-1. 2 walks in the inning, 2 errors in the inning, and 2 hits. Two and two. Well, Felix Hernandez had been perfect through the first 3 innings, but has not been able to retire a batter here in the 4th. This is the second time through the order, and everybody has reached. Joey stays alive.
Now, one thing we watched with Joey Gallo this year, and I thought this one kind of stuck out to me, is the major league leaders in fly ball percentage. You see 3 of those guys in this game, or at least at the ballpark tonight. Joey Gallo, Mike Napoli, and Kyle Seager, but nobody hits the ball in the air in Major League Baseball more than Joey Gallo. Pretty obvious to see with the great power and how his swing works, getting the ball in the air. And we know that, of course, he strikes out a lot as well. That's part of Joey Gallo's game, the swing and miss. He's got that 36% strikeout rate. That's the most here with the Texas Rangers, and near the top in baseball. But he's a really good example, I think, of, now, he's an exceptional example as far as the power that he has, but just where a lot of hitters are going. They're trying to avoid those ground balls at all costs, get the ball in the air, because good things can happen.
Held off? No, he did not. Third base umpire James Hoy rings him up. 1 away.
Well, the discipline for Joey Gallo really has gotten better, and this is a tough one for him to try to lay off of. As you see the head of the bat come around, it's close. The left-out hitters always pull it back. No, it was really just right here. No, we know you went a little further than that the first time, but that's tough. I mean, Felix Hernandez has got the good off-speed pitches, knows how to use them below the zone. He missed badly against Nomar Mazar, and he made him pay. That's the experience of Felix Hernandez against a guy like Joey Gallo.
Well, now Chirinos grounded out his first time up. Takes one low. Chirinos 0 for his last 12. His last hit was a double last Thursday against Felix Hernandez back at Globe Life Park. He hasn't had a hit since then. That was his first time up against Hernandez that Thursday night. You saw his long consecutive games reach streak ended. And he takes a strike. It's 1-1. I'm hoping to get back in the hit column again tonight, maybe against a guy who last let him in the hit column.
Yeah, we start to talk about fatigue for guys. The catchers are always the ones you worry about the most. And Robinson Chirinos has really grinded it out this year. He's done an excellent job both sides of the ball for the Rangers this year. The fact that he even had that consecutive streak this late in the season is very impressive for what he has done. I mean, not just catching, but catching in Texas. It's different than other places, dealing with that heat. I think for a lot of the Venezuelan players, a lot on their mind as far as everything that's going on back at home as well. A lot going on both mentally and physically for a guy like Robinson Chirinos, but he's delivered and had a great season.
Well, chance to add to that right here. The 2-1 pitch, and he pulls it foul. 2-2.
You were talking about Felix Hernandez and the pitch count and what they were hoping to get out of him tonight. Well, part of the concern is when you go inning by inning, right? Pitch counts are not all created equal. And now it's 27 pitches here for Felix Hernandez in the 4th inning with just 1 out. Now he's a veteran guy, older guy, and so you don't stick to those hard numbers. But a lot of organizations at the minor league level will not let a pitcher throw more than 30 pitches in an inning. At the big league level, maybe 35, 40 is really pushing it.
And you can see he's slowed down a little bit. He made it look easy the first time through the order. 3 strikeouts through 3 perfect innings, but allowed the first 5 to reach here in the 4th inning. Struck out Gallo and now goes full count on Chirinos. And now he walks the bases loaded. So 3rd walk of the inning. Might not be a whole lot left in the tank. And here comes his skipper. Well, Scott Service heads out there and the signal already made. They will go to the bullpen. Albers will come on in relief. Rangers into the Mariners bullpen in the 4th inning. So things looking pretty good here in the 4th inning. Bases loaded and just 1 out. So MLB.com at bat, it is your #1 mobile app for live Rangers baseball. You can stay connected with a fully customizable experience. You have Rangers home screen icons and many app features, as well as game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, statcast, news, and just so much more. Download MLB.com at bat today. Andrew Albers, the new pitcher for Seattle.
And you see only 6 games, but he's got the 5-1 win-loss record. Well, that's because he's been in the rotation. He made 5 starts this year for the Seattle Mariners. And so here he is now in a relief role. He spent some time with the Twins, the Blue Jays, back with the Twins again, and now here with the Seattle Mariners. A fastball that registers just 88 miles an hour on average. He also has the slider, curveball, and changeup.
All right, he'll get Rougned Odor here. Bases loaded. Odor struck out against Hernandez. And the first pitch to him, he will pop it up. Foul territory, and that one not reachable. Well, Rangers have the 2-run lead. They're into the bullpen early tonight. And Odor 1 for 2 with a home run against Albers. Not much of a sample size there, certainly, but what the heck? Lefty on lefty. And this one popped up, similar spot, back behind the Rangers dugout. Whoa, Doctor. Man trying to make a play on that one with the glove on, and He went tumbling back real hard.
I mean, how are they booing that guy? That's a tough play. Even Elvis is like, come on, you can't boo him. This poor guy.
Oh.
He's got his glove. He's given it everything he has. That's not easy to do, trying to work the rail and the crowd. He missed it. Not his fault. He fell down. It's going to happen. I mean, that's a little jarring. Cut the guy a break. Gets booed for that?
Well, listen, man.
Wow.
It's a tough crowd.
It is a tough crowd. I'm more worried to make sure he's okay. Look, he's grabbing his stomach.
Oh, dude, no, that hurt.
Yeah. You can't boo a guy after he gave his A effort to catch that ball. He missed it. It happens. Wow.
You'd be at the front of the line.
No way. Yeah, the front of the line to help him up and ask him if he's okay.
There's a swing, and that ball hit high in the air. Deep to right center, and it is gone! A grand slam! And Odor has done it again against Albers. 7-1 Rangers.
Rougned Odor punished this baseball. We have seen some balls that have been pretty well hit so far in this series that have not carried out, especially last night. And to get one out here in right field, you got to put a charge into it, and you'll see that little slider hanging up in the zone at 80 miles an hour. And watch Odor watch this pitch. He knew he got it well. He just wasn't quite sure if it was going to get out. It was high, and it was certainly far enough, and another Mariner fan error. You see big smiles there for Rougned Odor. That had to feel good. Rougned Odor was hitting just 147 against lefties. See it there, second career grand slam and his 5th home run against a lefty this season.
Well, now Robinson, who takes 2 strikes. 1 out, nobody on. And Drew Robinson 0 for 1. A 7-run 4th inning. Big swing and a miss. Robinson cut down quickly, and there are 2 away.
Let's take a look at this swing one more time from Rougned Odor. He gets something up and he attacks it. We know this about Rougned Odor. He does not lack aggressiveness. When he sees a pitch that he likes, he's going to go after. We know he's chased out of the zone. The batting average is down a little bit. The on base is down, but he has not lost his edge. He has not tried to be something that he is not. When he gets a pitch he can handle, he can do things like that.
So now DeShields, who started this inning by drawing the walk off Hernandez. Seven runs in. That one bounces up there. 1-1 to Delino. 2 errors in the inning. 3 walks issued by Felix Hernandez. Of the 7 runs, he absorbed 6 of them. 1-2 the count. Odor, a 30 homer year, a big grand slam tonight, and a huge spot. Two and two. I mentioned it earlier. This inning, Rangers 50-42 when Delino DeShields starts a game. They're 24-34, 10 games under in games he does not start. Starting tonight, and even after that ground out, they lead 7-1.
Well, what an inning it was here for the Texas Rangers in the top of the 4th. The Chu base hit. See Delino DeShields going to 3rd. Then it was the error from Kyle Seager, the base hit from Nomar Mazara, and the big grand slam from Rougned Odor.
Fourth inning, 7-1 Rangers as we go to the last of the fourth inning. Hey, speaking of explosions, don't miss the last post-game fireworks show of the season. It's going to be Friday, September 29th. A's and Rangers final weekend of the season. Stay after the game for a fireworks show set to the players' walk-up music. Fans can get a 20% discount on upper reserve tickets for this Friday home game. Just go to TexasRangers.com/specials and purchase your tickets for Fireworks Friday. Nelson Cruz starts things off here in the fourth inning. And Cashner goes 1-1 to him. Cruz bounced into a double play in the first inning. Takes off the plate. And we'll see Cashner's had a little of a tough time tonight with his command. He's showing a couple of walks, going deep in many counts. See with a 6-run lead if he's able to maybe get after that strike zone a little more aggressively. 2-2 the count.
Yeah, it was a long break for him in that top of the fourth inning. I'm sure he'll take every single minute of it, especially when it results in 7 runs. But you're right. Now the strike percentage for him is at 57% for the year. It's been much better than that. It's from 62% strikes, but it's not even that, right? 5% difference, but it's been in the zone that we're talking about.
Oh, this ball hit well out to right field, and it is out of here. Cruz with a home run. His 34th this season. It makes it a 7-2 ball game.
That is some tremendous power from Nelson Cruz. Was looking for a fastball. I got to believe in that 2-2 count and got himself a fastball. We know Andrew Cashner throws a lot of them. This is pretty impressive, but that's a strike. But you know, kind of again, it seems like there's been a little bit of the opposite effect for Andrew Cashner. Robinson Trinos wanted that ball down. It ended up being up. We've seen a couple of times where Robinson Trinos has asked for the ball up above the zone, and the ball is finishing down. So it's not even just about strike percentage, but Cash will tell you that tonight just getting those pitches where he wants them has been a little bit of an issue.
Hit well out to right field, but right to Chu, one away. So home run and a line out, and here comes Yonder Alonso. Rangers got 7 runs in the top of the fourth inning. Mariners with solo homers in the third and the fourth so far tonight. Alonso drew a walk in the second inning. Swinging at the first pitch here and lifts it out into left field. Nazar is there, 2 away. A lot of action on the last 3 pitches. Here comes Mike Zunino.
Running 2 outs, that's not easy to do. But Andrew Cashner will take it. You have the big lead, you want to throw strikes. You don't want to get too fine, you don't want to pick. You certainly don't want to do this offense any favors. Getting them good hitters counts or certainly issuing any walks when you have that 6-run lead. So even a solo homer from Nelson Cruz, well, not exactly what Andrew Cashner wanted to do. The way that he responded, staying in the zone and getting 2 quick outs, is exactly what Jeff Bannister wanted to see.
Ahead here 0-2 to Zunino, a guy he struck out in the second inning. Castro with 2 strikeouts so far tonight. Zunino and Mitch Haniger. Zunino, a former first-round pick 5 years ago. He was the 3rd overall pick of the draft out of the University of Florida. Great collegiate catcher. Did not take him long to get to the big leagues, and this has been a real breakthrough year for him. I guess the word I would use is frustration. That might be overstating a little bit, but there have been some moments over the last couple of years where Seattle has wondered, would Zunino really turn into a good big league catcher? The bat hadn't really followed along that well.
Yeah, some up and down for him, right back to the minor leagues mid-season. You know, he'd gotten to a point in his career with service time that maybe you didn't think that was going to be the case, but I wanted to see a little bit more consistency out of the bat of next inning.
Gets this one out toward right field, low liner, and Chu is right there. So after the home run, 3 straight outs in the air. We go to the 5th inning. Chu will lead it off, then Elvis Andrus and Adrian Beltre with the Rangers up by 5.
To 2 as we welcome you back to Safeco Field here in Seattle. And it has been a distracting couple of weeks for the guys from Puerto Rico after enduring hurricane season, kind of avoiding too much trouble. It appears that Hurricane Maria has hit Puerto Rico hard. AJ Jimenez there on the right and Alex Claudio both hailing from Puerto Rico. Alex is the only one who has spoken to his family thus far to make sure that they are safe. AJ says he still has not received communication. Neither has first base coach Hector Ortiz. Those two still waiting until the storm passes. Alex believes that because his family was higher up in the mountains, that's why he was able to correspond with them when the eye of the hurricane moved through. But they're anticipating another couple of sleepless nights before AJ and Hector hear from their families.
It is really so sad to see what has happened in Puerto Rico, and of course we've already seen the devastation of what Harvey did in South Texas, Irma swinging through Florida. Boy, it has just been a rough couple of weeks, not to mention the earthquakes. One in Mexico City the other day. Tough times, anxious times, and so happy to know that Alex Claudio was able to at least correspond with his family.
Yeah, it's, we mentioned earlier about the guys from Venezuela and the unrest in that country, and then of course the natural disasters that have happened in Houston and Florida, and another hurricane now in the Caribbean, and what's happened in Puerto Rico. It's it's unbelievable, and these guys are trying to go through their seasons and do their jobs.
Bouncer shortstop Segura with a backhand, and he throws out Chu to start the top of the 5th inning.
I saw one report. It was NBC News. It wasn't one of those weird internet deals, but NBC News saying where it might be 4 to 6 months before all of Puerto Rico will have their electricity back. That is almost hard to fathom. So for Alex and for AJ and for those guys, I mean, they're sitting there, and for Hector, reading that stuff. That's got to bring a lot of anxiety.
Hard ground ball. This one threw into left field for Andrus, and he is aboard here in the 5th inning. Elvis has been on twice. Well, as many of you know, the Red Cross depends on financial donations to be able to provide disaster relief immediately, help people affected by Hurricanes Harvey and Irma and so many of these disasters right now around the world by visiting redcross.org or texting the word Red Cross to 90999 to make a $10 donation. There's Adrian Beltre, and he takes a strike from Albers. Beltre walked last time. Part of that fourth inning rally in which the Rangers scored 7 runs off Felix Hernandez and Andrew Albers. Hernandez, by the way, finished 3 1/3 innings tonight. Hard ground ball up the middle. That's a base hit. Andrews with a good jump. He'll get to third, and the Rangers have him on the corners with just 1 out. And once again, Beltre has come through.
It's really amazing. Here he goes again, Adrian Beltre. We highlighted him in our open. What have you done? 4 for 8 in his last 2. Coming into this one, he gets an off-speed pitch up in the zone, squares it up, and now on base and back-to-back plate appearances. The walk that he had in the 4th inning, it is just incredible to watch what he does. Not just at 38 years old, but I mean, what do you call it? 80% maybe strength for him right now with his lower half. And he's in there and he's hitting big league pitching.
Having fun with Yonder Alonso, who is not bothering to hold him at first. We talked about that a little bit yesterday, but with his legs in the condition they're in, it does afford the Mariners the ability to play a little more traditionally on defense, because you don't have to hold him.
And that's hugely helpful for them when you have back-to-back lefties like Nomar Mazara and Joey Gallo, a couple big guys that hit the ball hard. And Nomar's the guy that uses the field a little bit more than Joey does. Joey has a tendency to be a little bit more pull power. But even as a first baseman, and Alonso is an excellent defensive first baseman, any extra step that you can get can be a big help.
Mazara had the big 2-run single last inning, getting him now to 96 RBIs.
What happened to the Z on his armband? Does it fall off?
Yeah, must have lost it.
I'm going to red marker color in for him.
You're not going to let that bother you.
A little bit. Unless it's a new nickname. Ma'ara.
Could be.
Talk to Brandon. Get to the bottom of that after the game tonight.
No time for Z's this time of year, buddy.
Ooh,
12
nice
games.
one.
Just 12 games remaining.
That's a good one.
Gotta dial it in. So Ma'ara waits while they go out to the mound and have a little conversation. Think we could do that all night?
You were pretty witty. I don't feel as sharp as you do right now. I'm going to have a little more coffee and see if I can catch up.
That was a quick conversation. So whatever it was. Ooh, up there, 3-2. What would that be? I mean, there's nobody at second base stealing signs.
No, I think they wanted to make sure, as far as how they maybe wanted to go after Nomar Mazara, the intent was definitely not to throw that breaking pitch up there that high. I think Zunino had a pretty good idea, and maybe he needed to sell Albers on it in person.
Strike 3 called. Mazara watched a close one, and they're 2 away here in the 5th inning.
Well, that bad curveball prior to that fastball actually probably worked to Albers' favor. It was so slow, and it was so high in the zone, and so Nomar's kind of tracking that higher pitch, and it's a 2-2 breaking ball, so you start to wonder and get in the back of your mind. Then you come back with a 91-mile-an-hour fastball. It looked a lot quicker after that slower breaking ball up in his eyes.
So now it'll be Gallo. Joey 0 for 2, and he takes a strike. Before the ball game, I asked you a question, mostly rhetorically, but you went ahead and followed through with it, which I do appreciate. I wondered maybe what Gallo's numbers had been since the concussion. He ran in to Matt Bush and had missed about a week with that concussion, and he came back and said, well, he's hitting .243 since then. That's above his season average. A .369 on base, a little bit above his season average. His OPS is down just a little bit. That's on base plus slugging. It's .826. 3 homers in the last 70 at bats. But I guess the point being that he's been fine.
Some more singles
Maybe
for
some more
Joey
singles,
Gallo,
right?
which is never a bad thing.
And he strikes out here. And the inning is done. Rangers will leave him on the corners. We're halfway there tonight. Rangers leading it 7-2. Rangers lead by 5, and we invite you to take advantage of Ozarka online ticket Thursday. It's going to be September 28th. Rangers in the opening game in their final 4-game series against the Oakland A's. Tickets for all Thursday home games are half price and upper reserved, upper box, and Lexus Club Terrace. Just go to texasrangers.com/specials and use the coupon code Ozarka to redeem this offer. Give you your final chance to do that this year. Ben Gamble starting things off here in the bottom of the 5th inning, and Andrew Kashner fires low for ball 1. We're just looking at this at bat, CJ. Kashner and Gamble. Might be one of the better hair-on-hair battles you'll get.
Pretty good one. It's gotten hairy in here for sure. I think the only guy that could give maybe Kashner a run for it would be Noah Syndergaard, Jacob deGrom. Some pretty good flow over there, but they don't have the beard Kashner has, so more coarse hair.
They pick up a little extra with the beard, I suppose. 2-1 pitch, bouncer, second base, and no door right there. 1 away here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Time for a Chevy game break. Let's check in with John Radigan. Well, bye-bye, though, to that record. Is Kashner. It's right after Guillermo Heredia. Yeah, that's a win. It's a win for the broadcast team today. Steve Balboni in the broadcast.
He was there? What do you mean? Or just getting him in the broadcast?
Just getting the name in there.
Yeah.
You might not have been listening to the.
I was.
The break.
I know exactly what happened. I remember Steve Balboni when I was a kid. Played for the Yankees.
It's a breaking ball in the dirt, and it is 2-1. Yes, you are up to speed.
It's kind of surprising though. It's been that long, and you know, I've seen so many high home run numbers over the years, especially now, but that nobody ever top 40.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah,
especially
was like, wow.
Given the errors we've been through, no question. Well, high pop-up out into short right field, and Chu closes on it nicely, 2 away. Well, last inning, Kashner gave up the home run to Nelson Cruz, but then he got 3 straight outs, and now a couple of quick ones here in the 5th inning. Great to see him settle in just a bit. Knock down a couple of more scoreless frames. Working currently with a 5-run lead. Gene Segura, 1 for 2. Kashner jumps ahead of him. Hey, so looking at other scores in the out-of-town scoreboard, Cleveland Indians in Los Angeles, and they're leading the Angels right now 2-1. That game in the 5th inning. Segura in a hole here, 0-2. So you start thinking about with the wild card standings, you know, the Angels 1 back, Rangers 3 backs. Twins rather already lost today to the Yankees. By the way, Yankees, I don't know if they've mathematically sewn up a wild card, but they're about as close as you can get. 7-game lead over the Twins.
Yeah, the thing that makes it so tricky is as we were talking about the other day, all the head-to-head matchups, and if you could really dig in and figure that out based on the head-to-heads, so many different combinations.
Bouncer over the mound, and that one is through. So Segura sneaks one into center field for a 2-out single.
Pretty good at bat here from Gene Segura. That's a good fastball from Andrew Kashner. He has had a lot of success running that 2-seam fastball in on the hands of right-handers, but Segura is able to pull those hands in, hit that thing hard enough, get that ground ball up the middle.
And now Haniger, homered in the 3rd inning. Rangers currently a half game in front of Seattle in these wild card standings. So a win here, a chance again tomorrow. They could put just a little bit of distance between themselves and Seattle. Difficult to do this time of year. But just as the Angels are having to contend with the red-hot Cleveland Indians right now down in Anaheim, well, so too are the Mariners going to have to deal with that this weekend because Cleveland headed here. So from a scheduling standpoint, the Indians providing the Rangers some help down the stretch. Bouncer deep in the hole. Andrews for the long throw, and it is in time to get Haniger to end the inning. Well, we will go to the 6th inning. Rougned Odor due up in the 6th. Hit the grand slam earlier tonight, giving the Rangers their big lead. Sonic Slam inning brought to you by Sonic Drive-In. The jackpot $400 tonight, plus dinner for 2 at Sonic Drive-In. Mickey Robinson and Richardson tonight. Ranger hits a home run this inning. Mickey wins $400 if it's a grand slam. Now Mickey wins an additional $25,000. Good luck, Mickey. Top of the 6th, Rangers up by 5.
So Mickey Robinson's got 2 Robinsons to give him a shot at this, at least in this inning.
Yeah, Robinson, Chirinos, Drew Robinson hoping to get it from Mickey Robinson.
Of course it's going to happen. How could it not?
Seems like everything would have aligned pretty well here. Fingers crossed. Chirinos walked in the 4th inning, right in front of the grand slam by Odor. He takes the strike here, the count 0-2. Hits this ball hard though, out into left field, and that's a base hit. A great start to this 6th inning. And Chirinos aboard. All right, our TXU Energy power player to watch. You bet it's Rougned Odor. 30 homer seasons for second baseman. Well, Kinsler did it twice. Odor now has done it twice with his grand slam a little earlier. Alfonso Soriano did it when he was a Ranger as well.
It's quite the accomplishment at only 23 years old for Rougned Odor. Something to be proud of. I don't care what the generation is doing, and if we're seeing so many home runs the way that we are, it's been a record-setting season for Major League Baseball overall. To have the year that he had a year ago, first real big one. Right? And then knowing the league's paying closer attention to Rougned Odor, and to repeat again with at least 30 home runs, it's impressive. I know some of the other numbers have suffered a little bit, but to do that now in back-to-back seasons for Rougned Odor, to do it as a second baseman, to do it as just a 23-year-old. Still a lot left in this game. We'll see. It'd be very curious to kind of watch, I think, his career. He's always going to stay aggressive. You know, he'd love to be able to get to that 260, 270 batting average mark, maybe turn out 330, 340 on base, but power is his greatest tool.
Fouled away by Odor. Yeah, for a little more on this season and Rougned Odor, let's check in with Emily.
Well, just a little bit like you guys talked about before with Rugi. He said he's still going to have the same approach. He's not going to change the player he is. He realizes that his season has not been what he wants or what he expects, but he's got to keep being the player that he is. That's the only way that he knows how to play. And if he gets out of his game, he feels like it's going to do more harm than good. So he said it's something he's going to have to work on in the offseason. And I think even more important, it was important to him to finish out this season strong, especially considering that this team is still in the hunt for that second wild card spot.
Yeah, what I really like when we watch him, I think it's the same thing with Joey Gallo. You see no doubt in them, right? Even though you can say, well, there's a lot of room for improvement in different areas, and there's some eye-popping numbers with the power, but the low batting average for both of those guys. But I love that they seem to, not that they're embracing, and they're okay with where they are. They're always trying to get better. Of course, you have to be that way as a big leaguer, but not getting down.
And I appreciate that they're not defensive about it.
Yeah.
You can talk to them about the areas in which they need to improve because they're realistic with themselves and they want to be better. I think that's a huge detriment to a player if they're not willing to realize what's actually going on and trying to kind of skirt away from the issue. I mean, Rugi talks very openly about where his struggles have come this year and that he's not okay with it.
Yeah, it is good to hear that. And I think it maybe is a little bit easier when you know you're contributing too. Like, he's still contributing in big ways. But you're right. A lot of guys, sometimes they have a hard time looking in the mirror, have a hard time admitting when there's certain struggles that they may be having on the field, or they don't want to talk about them. They want to pretend that they're not there. And again, it's all impressive. It's doubly impressive when you start thinking about the ages of these guys. They are so young.
And I think for Joey, that's something that I think Rugi, it came a little bit easier for him. I think Joey, that's something that he's acquired. It's something that he's learned and something that he's become more comfortable with, because I don't feel like he was that way last season. I feel like that's a big step forward he took this year.
3-2 the count on Odor. He's in a good battle here with Albers. But you know what, Emily, the other thing that has come up so often in conversation down there, especially with Elvis Andrus, is the conversation that guys like Elvis and Adrian are having with Rougned and trying to help him stay grounded and not feel like he has to do too much just because of his big contract that he signed this year as well, because that's another added element to this for him. He got a big deal before the season started.
Well, and look at how Elvis played in the first year or two after he signed his big contract. I mean, it wasn't up to his standards either. So he's been through this exact scenario. He knows what this is like. So if anyone can help Rugi through this time, it's definitely Elvis.
Well, it's been a solid at-bat here for Odor. He's fought off a number of pitches and finally draws a walk. A great at-bat, 2 men aboard here with nobody out in the 6th inning.
Well, it is a really good at-bat when you think about Odor and the struggles that he's had against lefties, but you get a pitcher who just allowed a grand slam to you in your previous at-bat. You know he's going to be a little bit careful, and Odor did a nice job of not chasing out of zone. He fouled off a bunch of pitches in that bat as well. So there goes with a 10-pitch at-bat, no, 11-pitch at-bat when it was all said and done. No, you know what I'm doing? I'm actually watching my MLB at-bat app catch up, and it is a 12-pitch at-bat. There it is, 12. It came in a little slow.
All right, and it gave us just enough time to get Scott Service out there to take the baseball away from Albers. His night is done. We'll see who's coming on next for the Mariners. Here at the top of the 6th inning. Hey, Carissa Thompson, Tony Gonzalez, Dave Wanstead, Colin Coward, and Michael Vick have all the latest breaking news and updates you need to start your football Sunday. Fox NFL kickoff Sunday at 10 a.m. Central. All right, so with 2 men aboard, Casey Lawrence is pulled out of the bullpen for Seattle.
You see the high ERA there. Casey Lawrence started out his season with the Toronto Blue Jays, now here with the Seattle Mariners. Got a fastball that sits around 91 miles an hour, slider at 82, changeup at 84. It's been a rough year for him, along with that high ERA, high batting average against. 331 overall. Lefties have really gotten to him, though. 386 against lefties and 290 against righties.
All right, so he will get Will Middlebrooks here. Middlebrooks pinch hitting for Drew Robinson. So Middlebrooks pinch hit and play a little bit yesterday defensively as well. Rangers with the deep bench in September. And a high pop foul back our direction. Strike one.
And Middlebrooks, a guy who has been around, understands pinch hitting is very difficult, but looking for something early in the count, right? That's a trait of all good pinch hitters. You don't want to wait around too long. You don't want to get deep in the count. You look for something early that you like, and you go after it aggressively, and he did on that first pitch from Casey Lawrence.
We're going to go after the next one as well and foul it back this direction. Here's the thing, though, right? That is such a common concept. Was a pitcher, you had to know that, right?
Yep. Two-seam fastball or changeup. That's how I would treat it. You know, for me as a lefty, two-seam fastball, or I'm starting that thing or trying to, at least on the outer third. It's going to run to the corner of the plate. I want him to swing it. I want him to put it in play, and I want him to hit me a ground ball.
1 and 2.
And if you have a good enough changeup, Alex Claudio is a really good example of a guy who's going to see pinch hitters a lot of times, right? He'll see those righties that'll come in against him because he's a side armor. His first pitch changeups to righties that pinch hit is an excellent pitch because they are aggressive and come out hacking, see something in the strike zone, and he gets them way out front when that happens.
Out front on that one. 1 and 2 the count on Middlebrooks. Never faced Casey Lawrence before. So their first looks at one another.
This will be the 26th time in his career that Will Middlebrooks has been a pinch hitter. He's just 3 for 23, 130 average in those spots.
He swings and misses here, strikes out for the first out of the 6th inning. Well, Lawrence comes on and gets the first man he faces. 2 base runners out there, the responsibility of Andrew Albers, and now the top of the order coming. Here comes Delano DeShields. Shields 0 for 2, but has walked and scored a run. That one comes in tight. Well, Delano hitting .306 in the last 19 games. Batting average is seeing a little bump because of that. Takes a strike. It's 1 and 1.
In the conversation this year for me a lot with Delano DeShields has been that great batting average when he hits the ball on the ground. 433 for him. That's the name of his game. We talked about Rougned Odor a little while ago and Joey Gallo and understanding what their strengths are and the power, and so they're not afraid to take the big swings. Well, Delano, I think, has really shown that as well this year, understanding that keeping the ball on the ground more often than not is a better play for him, and he's really cashed in when he has had those opportunities. 47% ground ball rate. We talk about ground ball rate a lot of times for pitchers. They keep them for both hitters and pitchers as well. That's the highest on the club.
1-2. Ooh, that one got it.
That sounded like a knee, and we saw the first pitch that Casey Lawrence threw to Delano DeShields that almost hit him. He's got that good running fastball, the low 3/4 arm angle. Looks like it caught Delano pretty good. Watch that fastball with the run, like right on that left knee. No, back knee. Now, you don't see that very often, right?
No.
Interesting. Caught him on the inside part of his back knee, so was his right leg.
Good news is able to walk down to first base. Looks like he's going to be fine once he loosens that thing up. He keeps moving.
And an extended look at those awesome socks. Those are fantastic. When I first saw him that way, I didn't realize they had the Texas logo. I thought they were like Captain America socks. We're in underoos or something. Those are great.
You no doubt had a set of those.
Believe it. Batman.
Chirino's third, Odor second, and Delano DeShields at first. Here is Chu, 1 for 3. Well, Chu with 3 grand slams in his career. Rangers already have one tonight. It was 2-0. This is game number 151 for the Rangers. Just 11 games remain after tonight. Chu swings and hits this one high in the air. Might not carry. Back is Heredia at the wall, and he makes the catch, saving the grand slam. Everybody tags, and they will advance one base. It's a deep sac fly, about as deep as a sac fly can get. And the Rangers lead 8-2.
Wow, this ball carried a little bit at first. Looked like it was just going to be a relatively deep fly ball, and this thing kept carrying. You know, Chu got it good, but a great job by Heredia. And we had time to get there, obviously, because of how high this thing was in the air. But he does a good job of finding the wall, timing his jump just right. And Chu probably not too thrilled or impressed with that play, but you're right. It looked like that thing would have gotten out of here. Certainly would have been close. And there's the expression from Sin-Shu Chu.
Think there's anybody in the Robinson household right now bumming about the 25 grand that was just missed there? Sorry, Mickey.
Yeah.
Inning not over though, right? I mean, it could happen. Mickey Robinson from Richardson. I can't imagine.
Kind of stinks. Yeah, no doubt. I'm thinking that at most ballparks that ball's probably carrying out of here, but not on a cool night in Safeco here against the Mariners.
0-2 on Andrews. So a sacrifice fly. Chu.
Napoli saying, man, did I see you at the gym yesterday? If not, I better see you there tomorrow.
Oh. Swing and a miss. And that strikeout ends the inning. Oh, man. Rangers get one more, though, and they lead it 8-2. 8-2. Rangers with a 6-run lead tonight as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. And hey, Sunday, October 1st, we're going to be celebrating you on our Fan Appreciation Day. Rangers want to show the best fans in baseball just how grateful they are. Rangers take it on the A's in a 2:05 game, final game of the regular season. Go to TexasRangers.com and purchase your tickets for Fan Appreciation Day. Hope to see you out there. Now Robinson, Cano. Starting the 6th inning. Cano, Cruz, and Seager. Well, each of these games so critical these days to both teams. And I'm sure for Seattle, it's got to be a lot of frustration. You see Will Middlebrooks, who's come on, or rather stayed on, at third base. Well, we have seen this, though, for a lot of teams, whether it be the Twins, Rangers, Mariners, Angels. Opportunities, man. They've all had opportunities to make that push. But we just kind of keep jockeying back and forth, guys shuffling around a little bit. Somebody is going to make that run.
We've kind of been saying that too, right? For the last couple of weeks and thinking it was going to happen. We kept saying, well, it'll be that one team that puts together the really strong record. There was opportunity for multiple teams to be able to go on some kind of run. It really hasn't happened yet. The Twins have done a pretty good job, or at least they had done a pretty good job of separating themselves a little bit, and now the Angels have gotten a little bit closer. So there's some frustration there, even though the Rangers are still in this and still have a chance. Think about how they have played. Rough stretch there. They probably cost them the opportunity to maybe take ownership of the wild card.
Bouncer into left field for Cano, and he is on to start the 6th inning. All right, let's take a look at what's left on the docket for these teams. The Twins still have 3 games at Cleveland. Keep that in mind. Angels finishing up with Cleveland tomorrow, and then 3 games at Houston. Nothing easy about that. Mariners will be hosting the Indians this weekend, and then they will finish the year at Anaheim. So both those teams destined to lose a couple of games, and then Kansas City still with the Diamondbacks, a makeup game with the Yankees on their schedule. So just a matter of a lot of difficult games on the schedule for those teams. Rangers have 7 games with Oakland left and 3 at home against Houston. That is after this series, which will conclude tomorrow night. 2 balls, no strikes on Nelson Cruz.
Trinos now wants to go ahead and talk to Andrew Cashner. This is strictly about getting him back on track. Rangers just gave him another run. He's got a nice 6-run cushion here, but it is only the 6th inning, and this is a good offense here, especially this middle of the lineup with the Mariners. We talked about it. So Robinson wants to make sure that Cashner stays in attack mode, pitches like he has that 6-run lead, which means getting ahead and going right after these guys.
Big swing and a miss makes it 2-1.
I haven't heard this conversation in a while, but when a lot of the sabermetrics conversations started happening, one of them involved, when you talk about old school, new school, was pitching to the score. And new school guys absolutely hated the idea that there was such a thing as pitching to the score. And it doesn't mean that you throw fastballs down the middle and just, it's like prevent defense. That's not what it is. But there is a strategy there when you have the big lead. It's kind of more of a mindset of being aggressive, even going after the best hitters. And there's something to it. For Andrew Cashner, he understands that. And that's Robinson Trinos was talking to him about. Understanding you got the 6-run lead. We're not going to do these guys any favors. You can afford to be a little bit more aggressive. We used to phrase a lot of times splitting the plate up in halves, splitting the plate up in thirds. When you have a bigger lead, think outer half, inner half. Things a little tighter, you start thinking corners. Outer third, inner third, then the middle. Big leads mean bigger parts of the plate that you throw.
See Nick Gardewine loosening up. And Jake Diekman starting to stretch out a little bit. Bottom of the 6th inning, a 6-run lead for Cashner. He's at 84 pitches. Kyle Seager is 0 for 2. He is popped up to third, lined out to right, and sends this one into right field, a base hit. They'll go station to station. Mariners have loaded it up here in the 6th inning with nobody out.
See this first pitch, what looked like a changeup from Andrew Cashner, and pretty well hit. Rougned Odor tried to go full extension. He didn't really have much of a chance at it, but you see him giving it everything he had. I don't know. I mean, he couldn't have caught that ball as far as where he was standing at the time. Now, if he was frustrated and maybe a thought that he had pre-pitch, a lot of times, you know, middle infielders, they have the freedom to move based on the pitch selection or based on something maybe that they felt that they have seen, and so that could have been a reaction to Rougned Odor thinking he had an instinct to maybe slide over a step or two, but didn't. Could be him second guessing himself a little bit, but I don't think he could have got that ball based on where he had started when that ball was hit.
Oh, the base is loaded now. Yonder Alonso steps in. The bad news is that a lot of base runners out there right now against Cashner. Good news is Seager and Cruz and Cano are those base runners, not the upcoming hitters. And that's sort of a weird way to put a silver lining on it, but quite honestly, those guys have been the biggest problems this year. And Alonso shoots this one down the left side, foul and out of play.
No doubt, they're the run producers, right? They're the ones that have gotten it done. That's why they hit in the middle of the lineup for this club. And so the fact that you've gone through those guys without any run scoring so far in this inning, there's some encouragement there for Andrew Cashner. But now, same thing, going back to that conversation about pitching to the score. Can't really worry about the runner at third. You got bases loaded, nobody out. He's probably scoring, but Andrew Cashner's job right now is to try to avoid the big inning. You try to limit the damage here. You got that 6-run lead. If a run or two come across, while it's not your first choice, it's okay. The bigger issue is making sure that guys like Alonso don't get on. Zunino on deck, and it doesn't turn into a big inning for the Mariners.
Bouncer by the mound, but Odor flips to second one on the first double play, and the Rangers very happy with that exchange right there. A 4-6-3. Cano comes in to score, but they're just like that, 2 away.
And that'll do it right there. That's a great job by Andrew Cashner to get weak contact from Yonder Alonso, to use the strength of the two-seam fastball that he has to get himself a ground ball. There it is, perfectly located right off the end of the bat. It was a good thing he didn't touch that ball. You saw him reach for it. Certainly don't want him tipping that ball in that situation. And for Andrew Cashner, the 20th ground ball double play that he has induced this year.
Now man at third with 2 out, and Zunino swings and misses at strike 1. For 2 so far tonight. A run in this inning. But this inning's tenor has changed quite a bit in the last couple of moments.
Well, that's really Andrew Cashner showing what it is to be a veteran. A lot of times when you're a younger pitcher, you get that bases loaded, nobody out situation. Think about trying to prevent that run. You start thinking about strikeouts, trying to do too much, and the next thing you know, the inning just gets out of control. He stayed with himself. He executed a perfect two-seam fastball. He got himself that double play. Stayed calm.
Well, it's a number we've looked at a lot this year for Cashner. With runners on base, why has he been tough? A 212 batting average against only Corey Kluber and Dylan Bundy, better in the American League. And not by a whole lot. One, two. You want to take that concept a little bit further. Take it to a 2-out situation for Cashner. So with 2 outs, And runners in scoring position. He's given up 2 hits this year. 2. In 52 of those spots.
It's amazing. He's come up big when it's mattered the most.
Zunino lifts this one high in the air. Medium deep right field. And Chu in his spot puts it away. The inning is done. So bases loaded, no outs. And Cashner only allows 1.
Brought to you by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by AT&T Internet. Visit AT&T.com/keep calm to learn more.
Yeah, Pike's Public Market right down in Seattle, where if you time it right, you can catch them throwing fish. We need to take you down there and see.
What time does that happen? Early,
I don't know. I'd like to see you go down there and catch some fish. I kind of came here expecting to do a little bit of that. The other day I was walking to lunch and some guy threw a football at me.
Yeah. You made some friends here in Seattle.
We played a good probably 1 quarter of football out on the street. This guy wouldn't stop. Adrian Beltre leading things off here in the 7th inning.
What would you say your completion percentage was? How was your quarterback rating at the end of?
Quarterback rating was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. The guy was good. Man. He'd make all the catches. His quarterback rating, not as good.
He underthrew you a few times.
Yes, he would tell me to go out one direction, throw it over the other shoulder. He was a mess. But then again, he was just a strange man walking down the street with a football. So what are you going to do?
Never know what you're going to see here in Seattle.
2-1 to Beltre. I like to kind of lifted my spirits. Yeah, that's fun.
There's a lot of worse things that could be happening with strangers on the street.
Yeah, I just want to have a catch. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Beltre starting things off here in the 7th. Then Nomar Mazara and Joey Gallo. A 7-run 4th inning. And the Rangers added another in the 6th. Swing and a miss. And Lawrence strikes out Beltre. That's how we begin things in this 7th inning. The Rangers fans, download the Fox Sports Go app and take Rangers baseball with you wherever you go. Can't catch the games on TV? You can stream them live on your mobile device with the Fox Sports Go app. Presented by AT&T and Hyundai. Beautiful shot. Safeco Field. This is one of the better ballparks in baseball. I think it gets pretty good ratings all the way around. Most people love this place.
I agree. We're looking at, what was it? When did this place open? 2000? No, later. 2001? They opened mid-season, right? Didn't they? Memory serves. In 2001, the Kingdome.
That's right. They had to play like a couple of homestands that year in the Kingdome. You're right.
Yeah, that was the first half of the season.
That might have been.
Maybe in 2000.
I do remember that.
99, that's what it was. So
see
half
what-
a season in 99. And then the second half, or something close to the second half, roughly, played here.
Fouled away by Mazzara.
The old Kingdome, not so nice compared to this place. Pitched there a few times, but they have some good memories. Mariners fans certainly do.
Place was loud.
Indeed. I always remember the dugouts felt incredibly close to the field there.
Slow tapper by the mound. Charging from third, Seager is still nowhere near in time, and Mazzara legs out a base hit, his second of the night.
That's how you beat the shift. It was unintentional on the part of Nomar Mazzara, but that was Seager that was essentially playing short. This is a pitch that was up for Seager. I mean, he was playing standard shortstop. No third baseman to help out. Nomar easily beats it out for an infield hit. And the same shift now is on for Joey Gallo.
And he takes one a little bit low. So the first game here, July 15th, 1999. Padres. They're, at the time, they're natural rival. That since has changed. Padres are now natural rival of the Rangers. We play them every year in interleague.
Two teams that genuinely dislike each other.
Oh man, goes back a ways. Last year maybe. Don't want to joke too much. Commissioner's here in town.
Yeah, he'd like to talk to you.
Called in the office. 1-2 on Gallo. Man on, one out here in the seventh inning. Gallo, a couple of strikeouts today. The home run totals have cooled off a bit for him. Sitting on 38 for the season. And it's this one.
That's going to hit the roof.
Up there.
Oh.
Wow, just missed those rafters. Everybody converging back there behind second base. Ultimately, Gene Segura made the catch. That was cool. You have four guys in the same spot.
Well, really, everybody could have got there as long as this ball was up in the air. I thought for sure he was going to get the ceiling. If anybody could get it, Joey Gallo could.
Now, those girders don't come down very far from the actual top of that roof. And I mean, he must have missed that by a couple of feet at most. Should check that ball, see if it has any like green paint on it.
Joey's already hit one ceiling this year, right? It wasn't him that hit that ball in Tampa,
Yeah,
right
Tampa.
field.
So Chirinos now. Man on, two away. Top of the seventh. And Robinson with a base hit in the sixth inning. He's been on twice. And he has scored twice. And it's 2-0. Rangers won the opener yesterday. Lead big here tonight. And usually a three-game series, you start thinking about a day game tomorrow. Nope, another night game tomorrow. So they'll have the full day to get ready. Low bounce foul, maybe. We'll see. Maybe a chance to do something special here in Seattle. It's been a tough year against the Mariners, especially in this ballpark. Mariners had won 5 of the first 6 games head-to-head in their home park before the Rangers took one yesterday. Of course, I guess they dominated in a similar fashion at Globe Life Park as well. 2-2.
Just showed Andrew Kastner there. Why he's still throwing now. A lot of times when you see that pitcher throwing here with 2 outs, his own team batting, makes you think maybe there's a decent chance he could be coming in. Jacket is off for Andrew Kastner, another indicator. All guesses, though. We'll see here soon enough.
Swing and a miss. And Chirino strikes out to win the 7th inning. Rangers leave a man. We go to the bottom of the 7th. They stand and stretch here tonight. Rangers lead by 5. That was the end of the night for Andrew Cashner. Pitched well, leaves with a 5-run lead as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. And by the way, Wednesday, September 27th, it'll be your final chance to enjoy dollar hot dogs this season, courtesy of Texas Chili Company. Don't miss the last midweek day game. The Rangers take it on the Astros, a 105 game, final game of that series. And it's dollar hot dog day. Get your tickets, TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS. Cashner is out. And Nick Gardewine, as we would expect, has come on to pitch.
And here is the Ford pitch arsenal for Nick Gardewine. He's got a good fastball. He's been averaging 95 miles an hour since he's been up here in the big leagues. Throws it 73% of the time. The slider is that first go-to pitch of the secondary offerings. The changeup uses that just 5% of the time so far here in the big leagues.
All right, so Cashner gave a good 6 innings. And Jeff Bannister going to need 3 innings out of his bullpen tonight. First pitch to Ben Gamble is a little high for a ball.
If you look back and look at Andrew Cashner's night, 6 innings when it was all said and done, 3 runs, a couple of home runs. First time this year he has allowed multiple home runs to right-handed hitters in a game. He's done such an excellent job of that this year. But I think he would tell you that felt pretty good. Velocity was good. It's just that fastball command within the zone.
Gardewine just does, and pardon me, and it's Gamble who sneaks that one right over the top of Odor for a base hit. Lead man on here to start the bottom of the 7th inning for the Mariners. Time for a Chevy game break, though. Let's check in once again with John Radigan. Yeah, that's huge. Big insurance run in that one. So the Indians trying to help the Rangers out a little bit today. Angels were 1 back coming into their game tonight. Rangers were 3 back of Minnesota, who had lost earlier tonight to the Yankees. This one off the handle, foul to the right side and out of play. Minnesota, by the way, they're done with that series with New York. and they were on the road tonight. It was a getaway day. They will begin a series in Detroit tomorrow. So 4 games against a Tigers team that has seen the end of their hopes come to fruition this year. A fly ball to right field. One out in the 7th inning.
I was thinking about that Lindor home run, and we talked a lot about Elvis Andrus, right? Jumping up from 8 to 20 this year. Lindor has doubled up, more than doubled up now. He had 15 home runs last year, now 31 for him this season. It's incredible. It's not like guys are hitting a couple of more, 1 or 2 more than they did the year before. Elvis is more than doubled up. Lindor is more than doubled up. It's crazy.
It's pretty crazy. Certainly seeing a dramatic increase for so many guys. So many guys. You were tracking it, gosh, it was back in like June or July. You were like, there must be dozens of guys who have already achieved new career highs in home runs.
I just felt like we kept hearing about it, and we were seeing it, right? We were watching, obviously Elvis was one, but then you'll hear watching Robinson Chirinos in the great home run year that he has had. It's been pretty fascinating, that is for sure. I think the question becomes, if you're Rob Manfred, you mentioned he's here. You're always trying to stay proactive, stay on top of things. It's okay. Is this is this what we want from baseball? Are we okay with where our product is right now? I still think it's exciting to watch, right? Even though maybe we're not seeing as many base runners, people like seeing home runs. I think people like seeing strikeouts as well from the high velocity, right? A lot of that back and forth. Brookale out to talk to Nick Gardewine. That gives Joey Gallo an opportunity to talk to Casey Kendall, the first base coach.
You were talking
Seattle
earlier
Mariners.
about good storytellers in the game.
Yeah.
He's got a lot to tell.
They're his stories too. He's not telling other people's stories. He's one of the craziest guys I've ever played with.
Yeah. A legend. 2-0.
Say that affection. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Funnest, maybe is the better way to put it.
Yes. Gardewine and his 3-0 to Segura. That one's off the plate. So he walked him on 4 pitches. Couple of men on now in this 7th inning. And the problem now for Gardewine is that he has 2 men on, but in front of some really challenging hitters, and that not lost on his manager, Jeff Bannister. He's not comfortable with this going any further, and so he has signaled for Jake Diekman. And the left-hander takes his last warm-up toss. He'll be coming on in a 5-run game. But Jake Diekman coming on here in a big moment. 2-minute board.
And here's the forward pitch arsenal for Jake Diekman. The fastball has been averaging 94 miles an hour since he has been back. The slider sitting at 82. Of course, you see him standing right there all the way in that extreme side, third base side of the pitching rubber, and he kind of slings it across his body. Great stuff from Jake Diekman, as he had done so well here as a member of the Texas Rangers, including last night's game where he came in a big spot, quickly got ahead of Kyle Seager, and he executes an 0-2 fastball that Seager did not like. Jake Diekman made quick work of Seager in a big spot. You see the expression there. Didn't argue, but he definitely was not happy. And now Jake Diekman on here to try to put out another fire. A couple of runners on. 1 out in the bottom of the 7th.
Well, the situation getting a little more serious in the 7th inning, and so Diekman is on. 2, 3, and 4 hitters. Mitch Haniger first, who homered earlier tonight. That one was off Andrew Cashner.
Jeff Bannister was really kind of hoping to get through the bottom of the order, Gardewine, then maybe turn it over to Diekman. You see Matt Bush now warming up in the Ranger bullpen. It was 8-9-1 scheduled here in the 7th inning, but 2 of the 3 have reached.
Right in there, 1-1 the count on Haniger. Diekman, a huge addition for this bullpen, able to return after the 3 surgeries this year. Took him a little longer to get back than I think he wanted it to take. The Rangers, though, were somewhat cautious, not want to push him too hard, and they've been rewarded. Diekman has come back and he has been very effective.
I got to believe the temptation was there to some degree, right? With the issues that the bullpen was having, this big left-handed arm. The Rangers did the right thing. Like you said, being rewarded for it now. Jake Diekman so excited to get back on the mound, talking about it as soon as he was either cleared to throw. At that point, I got to believe you're a little concerned about him maybe rushing it. The Rangers played it just right, and he's been very good since he's been back.
9th relief outing. And very stingy with regard to hits allowed. He has walked a handful of guys. 3-1 pitch. Check swing, and that one spins foul. It's a full count on Haniger. It's interesting. Haniger quite convinced that was going to go foul, and Chirinos did not give up on it.
You never know, a little funky spin. Seen it before where ball kicks back.
Gamble at second, Segura at first. Diekman's payoff pitch. And a swing and a miss. He gets Haniger. 2 gone in the 7th inning.
That's a big out from Jake Diekman. He really delivers on the high fastball at the end of this at bat. Mitch Haniger cannot lay off of it. Robinson Chirinos wanted it down and in, but more importantly, just to throw a strike here for Jake Diekman, and he reaches back with 95. And Haniger cannot catch up.
So now Cano. I figure when this inning started, if Jeff Bannister had one guy eyeballed that he might reserve for Jake Diekman, it would be Robinson Cano. He had to bring Diekman in a batter early. And this one gets away. Both runners will advance on what will be scored a wild pitch. Well,
No!
go pass ball, dadgummit. Got a little ahead of myself.
Well, it was close, and more often than not, the way this goes down, if the ball hits the dirt, then it will be a wild pitch. That was pretty close to hitting the dirt. And Robinson Chirinos got caught in between on whether or not he wanted to catch it cleanly or turn the glove over and try to block it. He tried to catch it cleanly, and unfortunately ended up missing it. But with 2 outs, no damage done. Jake Diekman, obviously a tough hitter to get out in Robinson Cano, but if he can do that, then that pass ball will be negated.
2-0 the count. Cano has had some trouble against Diekman. He's 2 for 13 against him, but does have the 1 home run. See the strikeouts. He's also walked 4 times, so he has at times managed his way on. But by and large, Jake Diekman has had the pretty significant advantage in this head-to-head meeting. First base now empty. This ball lined into left field. That's a base hit. They'll wave both runners in. And so Cano drives in a pair, and it makes it an 8-5 game.
You could almost see this approach coming from Robinson Cano because he has done it so often over the course of his career that even though he's ahead in the count, you got a tough lefty like Jake Diekman. You cannot try to pull him. You got to stay inside the ball. Think about the middle of the field, and that's all Robinson Cano is doing. Short to the ball, just trying to hit that line drive up the middle or to the left side. He's able to do it. Such a good hitter, and Diekman has dominated him over the course of his career. Every once in a while, though, good hitters are going to come through against good pitching.
Well, it brings up Nelson Cruz. 8-5, and Cruz cues out and foul count. Went into his own dugout and back out again. Big numbers for Cruz this year. Hit a home run earlier tonight in the 4th inning, and giving him 34 for the year, along with 111 RBIs. 2 out. That one a little low. 1-1. Well, the crowd was announced a little earlier tonight. 15,962. Say the majority of them have hung in there. Rangers took control of this thing with 7 runs in the 4th inning, but Mariners haven't given up yet. Diekman has done a pretty good job against Cruz in his career. And that one is off the plate. 2 for 9 prior to this series. Dick having a little trouble right now commanding the strike zone.
It is surprising, though, to see Nelson Cruz's numbers down against lefties, hitting just .224 against lefties this year. As much as he is such a good center field and opposite field hitter with power, you'd almost expect those numbers to be up.
Full count now, and Diekman just 1 strike away from getting this thing to the 8. There's been a story this year. The Rangers finding a way to get through the 7th inning. The 7th inning has just been a real tough one all year long. And that one is off the plate. So a walk to Cruz. Tooman aboard now, and the dangerous Kyle Seager coming up. Doug Brocail will jog out to the mound.
Last fastball just missed as Jake Diekman tried to work Nelson Cruz away, and so now he's got the matchup from last night, a one that Jake Diekman won against Kyle Seager. You know, this is the life of any reliever, but especially a left-handed reliever, especially one that is used in short outings. Now, Jake Diekman is good against lefties and righties. He's not necessarily just a left-handed specialist, but for lefty relievers, this is what it's like, especially when you're playing a team in your division you're going to face the best. That means Robinson Cano. That means Kyle Seager getting those lefties multiple times over the course of a year, and even in back-to-back nights. So Diekman was the winner last night. He's going to try to be the winner here again tonight.
Seager, the potential tying run. 1 for 3. Takes off the plate. Just for the sake of, I guess, telling the story of what the 7th inning has been this year. Rangers have outscored their opponents this season by 20 runs. Plus 20 on the run differential for the year. But in the 7th inning, they have been outscored in that 1 inning by nearly 40 runs this year. In fact, with the 2 runs allowed so far in this inning, they've been outscored by 41 runs in the 7th inning.
That is pretty amazing. And we know that there's been a lot of shuffling in the bullpen this year for the Rangers, different closers multiple times, which means you pull different guys out of those setup roles. Pretty fascinating. So far, Jake Diekman has gone slider, slider, and then fastball away. He has missed. He is certainly trying to avoid giving Kyle Seager anything to pull, as he represents a potential tying run.
Ball 4, so they are loaded up. The strikeout, a single, and a couple of walks. Diekman's just fighting it right now. And now a tough conversation right there for those 2 men.
Well, the conversation is about what do you think happens here, right? If you take Jake Diekman out, then what's your matchup, right? It's September, rosters are deep. Who's their best righty they have on the bench? They're going to try to make any kind of move, but obviously no pinch hitter. You have Matt Bush. I kind of think almost that they were anticipating that there would be a pinch hitter in this situation, but that's where Scott Service slides in and says, well, what do I want to do? Do I want to have Alonso facing Jake Diekman, or do I want whoever I'm going to pinch hit with face Matt Bush?
Bouncer, first base. Well, that'll answer everyone's questions. Gallo takes it to the bag, and the inning is done. Mariners leave them loaded, but they get 2 big runs, and they're back in it. It's an 8-5 game. And now it is to the 8th. 8-5 the score. Rangers with the lead. And a new pitcher on here for the Seattle Mariners. Take a look at Chase Simmons.
A former Atlanta Brave, a guy who had come up through their system, ultimately traded here to Seattle in a big arm, but he had Tommy John surgery. So now since bouncing back here in his 6th game of the year. So limited action so far for Simmons. A lot of comps for him when he came through the Brave system to Craig Kimbrell. Short right-hander with a big arm. Good fastball. Let's now get to our AT&T high-speed replay, and it's going to be all about Rougned Odor, the second grand slam of his career, 30th home run of this season, back-to-back seasons now with 30-plus for Rougned Odor. Second time done that as a Ranger, just the second Ranger to have 2 seasons of 30 or more home runs as a second baseman.
So big night for him. Walked his last time up. And now we'll lead things off in the 8th. First pitch from Simmons, and that one is up and away for a ball.
Now the comp to Kimbrell, of course, is maybe not a fair one, but that was the conversation around the Atlanta Braves organization when he had first gotten to the big leagues. The arm injuries have slowed him down. But you saw it there, that first pitch fastball at 96. That's what his average is. He's got a cutter that sits around 90. Slider and a split finger fastball.
Two and 0 the count. So, in the bottom of the 7th inning, there were 3 walks issued to the Mariners and helped them get to a couple of runs. Ultimately, they stranded the bases loaded. Walks have been a big part of the story tonight on both sides. Here's the 3-0 pitch, and that is in there. By the way, a little update from Anaheim. Like a Trout double has added another run for the Angels. It's a 5-4 game. Cleveland currently with the 1-run lead. 3-1 pitch. Odor fouls it off. So Angels trying to put up a fight. There you go. Now to the 8th inning in that one. Simmons delivers 3-2. Swing and a miss. So he strikes out Odor, one away here in the 8th inning. Taking a look at the upcoming schedule, our progressive upcoming schedule. We'll wrap things up here tomorrow night. Then it's off to Oakland over the weekend, which will put an end to the road schedule for the Rangers this year. Then it's back home. And the Silver Boot Series is fired up again Monday through Wednesday with the Astros. What you don't see on there, the last series of the year at home against Oakland. Will Middlebrooks stands in and takes ball 1. Rangers felt this was a big one tonight. A borderline must win. Jumped out with 7 runs early in this one. I was just going to tell you to look out, partner. Oh. It was coming to the booth next to it, so no worries.
Oh. Catching up on my scorecard a little bit. I missed a couple things. Backtracking. But you said you were going to tell me heads up, but you didn't tell me anything.
Well, when you looked up, you saw me watching both you and the foul ball. And I guess I was covering the track. That was going to be pretty fun.
What happened? You could tell us it wasn't fun today. A little incident in batting practice.
Ooh, yeah.
The Rangers' Jose Leclerc took a batted ball off his head today. The Rangers came out to see him. He walked off the field, and we were notified that he is fine, okay. It's certainly a scary moment, and you and I were talking about it before the game. And I'm surprised that it almost doesn't happen more often. I always hated playing catch on the road. There's Jose Leclerc. On the left there, seems perfectly fine, but I always remember, because on the road, when you play catch, either your team or the other team is usually hitting. At home, you can come out early, play catch, you don't have to worry about necessarily batting practice going on the field. And there's always guys that are protecting you, and coaches or whatever it may be, bullpen catchers. but they can't protect everything. Sometimes you just get lost in your catch. You're doing your thing, and you're not paying attention. You get hit with a ball. It happens. I've seen it happen plenty of times. I've always despised it.
Well, not a whole lot of fans are able to get in early enough to see all the activity that takes place on the field. It's an orchestra of ground balls, fly balls, guys playing catch, batting practice. And there's stuff going on everywhere, and you do wonder how it hasn't happened more. But then again, been around the game a long time. I've seen, I don't know, a couple decades of it, and it is pretty rare.
Yeah. Well, the thing is too, the other dangerous part is that you hear, you spend so much time on the field. When you hear the crack of the bat, you have a pretty good idea without even seeing it where the ball may be. And then you flinch a little bit. You got to be careful because your partner's throwing the ball at you as well. And so that one is coming at you. You got to be aware of that one. Then sometimes you're also dodging the ones that are coming off the bats of the guys that are taking batting practice.
Strike 3 called, and DeShields not happy about that. It's a 1-2-3, top of the 8th inning. Matt Bush coming on in the last of the 8th inning. All right, the Ford game summary tonight. 8-5 our score. And the big one, the Rougned Odor grand slam as part of that 7-run 4th inning. Andrew Cashner pitched well tonight, got through 6 innings, allowed 3 runs. It's now a 3-run lead as we go to the bottom of the 8th.
Let's take a look at the Ford pitch arsenal here for Matt Bush. 69% of the time for Bush. It's been a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Good slider, good curve as well. Matt Bush faced just a couple of hitters last night, so he's back out there again tonight for Jeff Bannister.
So Bush to Mike Zunino, and he misses low with ball 1. Yesterday, Bush faced Gene Segura, got him to ground out, then he hit Mitch Haniger and was out of the game.
He only threw 6 pitches when it was all said and done.
Line drive out to left field, that one over Mazzara and up against the fence. Zunino goes for 2. Mazzara's got a good arm, and the tag is not in time. Zunino is in there, but you can see Odor signaling immediately to the Rangers bench to take a look. And we will see.
It did look like when we watched this thing live that Zunino got in there. Nomar Mazara does a nice job of playing it off the wall. No hesitation, comes up, makes a pretty strong throw to second base, and Rougned Odor does everything he can to try to get that tag down in time. But watch the left foot, it's certainly in. Now the question becomes, did he pop off? because there's some space in there. Jeff Bannister says, yeah, we think we've seen enough. Let's get this thing reviewed. He beat it for sure. He's on, but is he off there? What a great job by Ruben Odor. It's a tremendous effort. Oh, look at this shot right here.
Safe momentarily. Off.
Ow.
Oh, boy.
Now they saw the same thing we just saw on the big screen, and they cheered. And I know there's some Ranger fans here.
They stopped it when the foot hit the bag. They stopped the video. It didn't go any further. But you know, then when they played it further on the big screen up there, it seemed even clearer to me that the glove was on the leg as the leg came off, and the second foot did not reach the bag yet. So this might end up being a big play and a big challenge once again by the Rangers.
Yeah, let's hope so, because this would be really important. The idea of the tying run coming to the plate against Matt Bush, certainly something the Rangers would like to avoid. Taking a little time, of course, in New York, Chelsea Market. Let's take a look here. Some more replays. There it is. Foot gets in. And it does appear that Mike Zunino came off the bag. I mean, it was ever so slightly, but that's what we get now, a replay. This is the view right here.
Safe. Out.
There, he is out.
Yep, that glove is on that right leg.
That was a great shot.
Safe. Out. It's pretty ticky-tack, but that's the way it has gone. Rangers have made 60 challenges this year. They've been right 32 times. They've missed on 28 of them. And this one just about as close as any that we have had this year.
Yeah, and they are really taking their time and making sure, I think, if you're watching this replay, they want to make sure he was completely off the back. Oh!
So he is safe.
Wow. And that's the part I'm guessing that they felt was not conclusive enough as far as seeing any space in between the foot of Mike Zunino after it comes off the back, because it definitely comes off, but as it comes off, are they confident that the tag was there? And that's a tough call. I thought the Rangers were going to get that one, but they did not.
So now Ben Gamel, who has a hit tonight, and he has scored a run. Lead man on, Zunino at second with a double. Breaking ball in there for a strike.
Ball from Matt Bush, just 77 miles an hour. And when you throw as hard as Matt Bush does, and that fastball will touch triple digits, to be able to flip a 77-mile-an-hour breaking ball in there, 23-mile-an-hour difference off of his best fastball, it's going to lock a lot of hitters up.
Gamble fights that one off, and the count stays 0-2. Gamble, one of those guys this year for the Mariners who has manned his outfield position for better than 100 games. 3 rookies out there who have been everyday guys, over 80 games played, all 3 of them. And this one hit into right field. That is a base hit and out into the corner. Zunino chased to the plate easily. RBI double for Gamble. It makes it a 2-run game.
Another good swing here from Ben Gamel, who singled in his last at bat. It's a fastball from Matt Bush. That one finished middle in. And they were trying to get that ball a little bit further down. Some pressure on the Rangers now with the tying run in scoring position. And nobody out here in the 8th.
Jeff Bannister looking a little pensive.
Waiting to watch the pinch hitter here. Alex Claudio's been throwing in the Ranger bullpen. I don't know if he would be ready yet, but it does appear that Jeff Bannister is waiting for Vogelbach to officially be announced.
And there it is. Daniel Vogelbach is the pinch hitter, and with that, Jeff Bannister will make his move. So Matt Bush came on in this 8th inning, gave up a pair of doubles, and just like that, his night is done. And it's going to be up to Alex Claudio to come in and save the day. This one getting a little interesting here. Bottom of the 8th inning, a man at second base, nobody out. Here in the bottom of the 8th inning, a 2-run game. And Alex Claudio, we take a look at his forward pitch arsenal.
And for Alex Claudio, it has been steady with the 2-seam fastball 59% of the time, and that pitch hits right around 87 miles an hour. The changeup has been the killer for him. Done such an excellent job. Helps him to neutralize the right-handed hitters as well as the lefties. He is not afraid to throw that changeup to lefties. And then the slider as well from Alex. That pitch hits right around 77 miles per hour.
Well, we talked about it earlier. Probably a lot on his mind. Let's check in again with Emily Jones.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier in the show about Puerto Rico going through some tough times with Hurricane Maria passing through. Alex Claudio, one of the lucky ones, he has been able to communicate with his family that they are okay. But you can see there on the just above the bill of his cap, he has written some words. I believe it's pray for Puerto Rico or pray for PR. Messages for his home country, and obviously our thoughts still with them, and especially with the families of Hector Ortiz and AJ Jimenez. Yeah, stay strong, it looks like.
It is really amazing. I mean, it's really hard to put yourself, I think, in somebody else's shoes. But can you imagine the stress level here for Alex Claudio? It's a big spot in the game. Tying run on second base. There's nobody out. There's some significant issues going on in your home country of Puerto Rico. And obviously, he's been fortunate where he's been able to be in touch with his family. It helps a little bit, but that doesn't take away all that worry. You got friends and other family as well that I'm sure he is concerned about.
Well, he's got Gamble at second base. He inherits that from Matt Bush. The 1-0. Danny Valencia pulls this one foul. The count 1-1. So Vogelbach burned. Valencia takes over for him. And Valencia representing the potential tying run. Just off the plate.
Good pitch from Alex, that 88-mile-an-hour fastball. That's such an important pitch for him, the way he locates that on the outside corner. It's got really good movement away from right-handed hitters. And give Valencia a little bit of credit there for laying off that pitch.
High pop-up, left side of the infield. Middlebrooks, one away. All right, that's a big out. Get that first man. And now turns the lineup back over to the top again, and Gene Segura. Well, Rangers Mariners neck and neck in his chase for the second wild card. Huge games against one another, and Claudio gets a corner call on Segura for strike one. Segura's had a great night tonight. A couple of singles. Milwaukee has scored a run. It's 0-2.
That is part of Alex Claudio's game, where he can get right-handed hitters way out in front. He just did that there with Gene Segura. Keeping hitters off balance, so important. That plus and minus from Alex Claudio, the deception of the changeup. Seen a lot of awkward swings from opposing hitters this year.
Time called. Claudio, fourth reliever used tonight, is 0-2. Bouncer, shortstop. And Andrews has Gamble hung up. Middlebrooks running him back to second. Can Odor catch him? Well, a foot race, and Odor finally got him. And what a great toss back to Claudio.
It was amazing. Well, you have Ben Gamble, who is a really good runner. And so that was part of the issue, and it was an awkward rundown. It wasn't your standard rundown. These guys are so good at executing this play, as Elvis gave the ball up to Will Middlebrooks, and Middlebrooks did what he's supposed to do, but then Rugi decided he was going to take over and just chase Gamble down and not forget about the fact that there was still another runner on. Watch Elvis here. As he started running at Gamble, Gamble's kind of dancing around, and you know, when you have these rundowns and you're teaching him, the most important thing to do is exactly what Rugen Odor just did right there, which is sprint at the runner, make him commit. When you got a really good athlete like Gamble, you can't be dancing around with him. Rugi wasn't having it anymore. And that was a fantastic defensive play.
6-5 for the putout. And better yet, Segura only got first base. The only thing I loved about that play, and it didn't end up resulting in anything more, was the presence of Odor once he made the tag and sliding in foul ground to quickly toss it back to Claudio, make sure that Segura did not take another base.
I'm really surprised that Segura did not find a way to get to second there. That did seem like it was taking a little while. And again, you got a good run. It's one thing if you have a slow guy who you know is not going to be able to stay in a rundown very long. You might be hesitant to take the extra base, but for whatever reason, Segura did not, and that's good for the Rangers.
It's 2 away now. 1-1 the count to Mitch Haniger. And these are the guys, to me, CJ, that I feel like are the most vulnerable, the young players that Claudio faces.
Sure.
I can imagine, and especially if they played a lot this year, because this is a look that they probably have not seen much at the big league level.
No, you don't see too many of these guys really throughout the league at all, whether it's the minor leagues or the big leagues. But if you haven't been around, yeah, you haven't seen guys like this very often. And this is a huge at bat right now for Alex Claudio to try to finish off this inning. Got the heart of the order due up next, and Cano, Cruz, and Seager, and at least the idea of trying to get through the ninth inning fresh, a lot easier than trying to get through those guys with runners on base.
2-2. And a fly ball out to right center. The Shields with good speed, able to get there, and that will do it. Mariners get 1 run out of it, and we go to the 9th inning tonight in Seattle. It's a 2-run game. Ninth inning. There was a point where you thought this one might be a little bit of a breeze after that 7-run fourth inning, but it has gotten interesting. Mitch Haniger has moved into center field for the Mariners. And Shin-Soo Choo takes strike one to get things started here. Edwin Diaz, a hard throwing right-hander. We did not see a lot of Diaz in the series back at Globe Life Park last week. Games were not usually that close, and this one swung on and lined into right field, so Choo is on with a leadoff single here in the ninth inning. Brings up Elvis Andrus. His Rangers winning tonight, still very much in this race, and Emily, you can feel it in that clubhouse.
Yeah, I mean, as far out as it seemed like this team was just a few days ago, they still feel like they're in it. Elvis Andrus talking today about, what's the number of wins you think it's going to take? He's like, I don't care. I don't care what our record is. Banny said the same thing. We don't care if we're at 500. If we get in, that's all we're looking to do. So it doesn't matter how we do it, as long as we get in. So they very much believe they are capable of going on a run to get themselves back in it.
Well, a couple of wins makes a big difference, and now leading today. The attitude, of course, the right one, right? It's like win today. That's all. I mean, that's all you can worry about, all you can control. Andrews, a bloop near third, and Seager is there, one away.
Elvis Andrus was left with just the handle. He still has it in his hand. The rest of his bat went flying, I don't know, about 6 or 7 rows above the Ranger dugout. It's 3 bats at least now broken for Elvis Andrus these last 2 games. Let's take a look at last night. There's Elvis Andrus. That was okay. Got a base hit out of that one. He is okay with it. Breaks another one here tonight. Hopefully everybody is okay. Always kind of scary when those broken bats go into the stands.
Now Beltre, and he hammers one out to the power alley right field, and a long run out there. Haniger tracks it down. What a play. Now heading back quickly to first base. Choo gets back in there. Wow. Almost got a swipe tag on his back. A great hustle to get back. That ball looked for all the world like it was down for a double.
Well, Choo certainly thought so. And, think about Mitch Haniger sliding over to center field with Heredia out after getting pinch hit for. You think, well, it's probably a lesser center fielder in center, and that ball's probably going to get down. But Haniger does an excellent job of running it down and turning and making a pretty good throw. And that was incredibly close. Look at Choo. He was thinking the same thing. Does a good job of hitting second base, but it is full speed. And he does avoid a tag and a pretty big exhale after that play for Choo.
So inning still alive. And here is Mazzara. Mazzara, a couple of hits tonight, has driven in 2. Rangers up by a pair. Shoots this one off to the left side out of play. A 7-run fourth inning. That's been the big inning tonight. The grand slam by Rougned Odor. Rangers added a run of the 6th inning. And then really it's been just about holding on. 1-1. Skips down there near the plate. Zunino keeps it close.
By the way, here are Edwin Diaz's numbers for the year. So much happening. We haven't had a chance to show you this yet. It's been a good one for him. The ERA a little bit higher than he would like, but 84 strikeouts for him in his 61 games. This guy's got a really, really live arm. We've seen it already with the fastball averaging 97 this year.
Well, this ball well struck, but back on it is Gamble. And that ends the inning. So the Rangers made some good contact on him, but nothing doing. We go to the last of the 9th at a 2-run game. on defense, and it's been a difference in this one. 8-6, Rangers leading. And now last of the 9th inning, Alex Claudio stays in the game. And of course, you're going to get the 3, 4, and 5 hitters. Ryan Rua comes in defensively, and he'll be out in left field for Nomar Mazara. So the Rangers strengthening things just a little bit out there. And we'll see if Claudio can finish this one off.
Well, certainly a challenge. Cano, Cruz, and Seager. Now, these guys collectively do not have strong numbers against left-handers. Robinson Cano hitting .210, Cruz .224, and Seager .245. So that's certainly something that could work here, should work here in Alex Claudio's favor.
Well, it starts with Robinson Cano, lefty on lefty here. Claudio runs it in tight. Cano 1 for 10 against Claudio prior to this series. So Alex has done a good job of holding down a very capable, very good left-handed hitter. 2-0. Twenty-one homers this year, 90 RBIs for Cano. Claudio's job, keep him off the bases in front of Cruz and Seager. Inside though, 3 balls and no strikes. All the way. Claudio came in, got the 3 outs needed in the 8th inning after back-to-back doubles off Matt Bush. Now a clean inning here in the 9th, the 3-1. 2 balls. Very patient.
He certainly is, and we know with Robinson Cano, he'll get in certain spots where he is clearly taking a pitch. He doesn't really hide from that. Now, I don't know if he'd be taking 3-1 all the way against Alex Claudio. Certainly made sense in the 3-0 count.
It's hard, sometimes it is hard to tell. He is so unflappable. He doesn't.
Very easy to misread his body language.
Big 3-2 right here. Swings and misses, strike 3. Ooh, big strikeout for Alex Claudio, 1 away.
How big is that for Alex Claudio to come all the way back from the 3-0 count? It's a very good hitter. First swing of the at-bat. Robinson Cano comes up empty. Think about putting a guy on, bringing the potential tying run to the plate. That's a great comeback at bat for Alex Claudio.
So a huge out. Now he'll deal with Nelson Cruz. Cruz, a dangerous right-handed hitter who has had success against Claudio, albeit in just a handful of at-bats. And Cruz having a good night tonight. A home run, a couple of walks. Swings and misses the count 0-2.
I see Alex staying away so far here against Nelson Cruz, even though he does have some great power the other way. We have already seen it on display tonight. I think Alex has made that decision as far as pitches in the strike zone. He's going to make Nelson Cruz beat him on the outer half.
He just missed his target. Or maybe the target was just off the corner because I think he threw it where he wanted.
He did. It was a good pitch. Now, a lot of times when you throw that backdoor pitch like that, the umpire will tell you that it went around the plate, even though it looked like it finished right where Robinson Chirinos wanted.
Chopper, first base side foul. Rangers won the opener yesterday. They have led most of the way tonight. Claudio's 1-2. Move it in. Alex never officially named the Rangers closer, but has assumed most of those responsibilities since Matt Bush left the role. The 2-2 pitch, bouncer, shortstop, backhand stop. Andrus in time to get Cruz. 2 away.
So far, so good here for Alex Claudio in getting the first 2 hitters out, and 2 very good hitters here in the 9th inning. It was a nice play by Elvis Andrus as well. A good backhand long throw. Made it look easy, but talking about making it look easy. I mean, Alex Claudio has made it look easy pretty much all season long. He came in on a big spot in the 8th inning. Tired the first 3 hitters that he has faced, and now the first 2 here in the 9th.
Now Kyle Seager. You said it yesterday that the Rangers' game plan was to find a way to slow down Cruz and Seager because they've done so much damage this season against the Rangers. Today, Seager with a hit and a walk. So that's the kind of damage you can live with.
Compared to what he has done, absolutely. Right? What he has slugged against his team has been an issue.
This one lined into center field. That's a base hit. So gets the potential tying run to the plate in the 9th inning.
Well, this is a good approach from Kyle Seager against a very tough lefty in Alex Claudio. You see, even though that front foot was open, you see how he pauses and stays back, lets the ball travel a little bit. So difficult to do against Alex Claudio because of the lower velocity in which he throws with. Seager did a nice job. Stay back and just slap that ball up the middle.
Carlos Ruiz announced as the pinch hitter here for Alonso. See the numbers for Ruiz in 51 games this year. Mariners down to their final out. Ruiz, the potential tying run. And Claudio pumps one right in there for a strike.
That's that changeup, 72 miles an hour. We were talking about pinch hitters before, being aggressive early. That's the perfect pitch from Alex Claudio.
Ruiz 0 for 3 in the pinch this year. And kicks off the plate. 1-1. Two out and a man aboard. Last of the 9th inning in Seattle. Rangers leading at 8-6. Chirinos resetting the defense a little bit, telling Gallo to come off the bag. No longer necessary to hold Seager. And this one lifted out to left field. Rua on the run, and he'll get there. This one is over. The Rangers win at 8-6, and now a chance to sweep this series tomorrow.
What a great job by Alex Claudio. The 2-out save came in and put out a fire in the 8th, goes right through the middle of the order in the 9th, and he continues to be a huge part of the Rangers bullpen. He's really saved that bullpen this year, but overall a very nice night for the Texas Rangers. Andrew Cashner did a really nice job in his 6 innings of work, but the offense just came up huge in that 4th inning. 7 runs. A couple of walks in that inning, but the big grand slam from that man right there, Rougned Odor. What a night for the Rangers.
So updating those wild card standings, the Rangers 2.5 back at the end of the night tonight. Angels, by the way, trailing by a run at home right now in the 9th inning. All right, so things continuing to stay interesting. John Radigan, Mark McLemore, and Mike Bassick will be back here shortly. Talk about that big fourth inning and Cashner's great effort tonight. Give you all the player reaction and analysis as well. For CJ Nikowski, Emily Jones, and our entire crew, I'm Dave Raymond saying stay with us. Rangers Live postgame starts right after this.